bitch. Oh, excuse you? Baloney wash. I'm annoyed. I'm just here to give my opinion and carry in. Oh, it's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch. Everybody, welcome and happy Sunday. To be specific, happy Super Bowl Sunday. It's your boy Chris Avalon, and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Excuse me. A show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, and hot topics. So that is a show for you. As I'm trying to fix my hat so I can look, I was gonna say look less like the Burkle. We got a show for you guys today. A lot of hot topics, action packed. We have to talk about the early box office projections regarding Scream 7. Charli XCX was diving into the horror movie genre. We got a new movie that she's working on with Takashi Miike. We also got some news about Green Day. Talk about he's urging ICE agents to quit their shitty ass jobs, during when he performed at the Super Bowl pre-party. We got to talk about this Kid Rock MAGA music festival that was canceled in South Carolina because all these artists keep dropping out. So we'll talk about that. Plus, Sonny Hostin threw some shade at Kid Rock over some of his past lyrics, where he was encouraging relations with minors. So we'll get into that because she went in on him on The View on, when was it? Actually, yesterday, I believe. Yeah, because yesterday was Friday. So we'll talk about that. Plus, apparently, Cardi B ain't being a team player when it comes to hanging out with all the other wags that play for the wags that are married or in relationship with some of the New England Patriots. So we'll get into that. We got to talk about that post regarding Trump and the Obamas and referring to them as apes and all that other stuff. He should be the last one talking when he looked like a big ass orange orangutan. So we'll talk about that. Plus, I told y'all the other day that Screamer for Hudson's show was on the chopping block. Well, apparently, Rob Shutter says that the show has been given the chop, but they're fighting to keep the show on the air. So we'll talk about that. Plus, there's some more tea spilling from behind the scenes. We all knew this was going to happen in regards of Sherri Shepherd's show. Debmar-Mercury apparently was never fully supportive of the Sherri show since she came in and took the show that was once occupied by Wendy Williams. So we'll get into that story. Nutmeg McCain is throwing shade at daytime TV, calling it sublimely boring. So we'll get into that. Andy Cohen has some weighing in on the fact that some of the OG Roni girls have gone from Bravo and have jumped ship and went over to the E channel because they got a new show coming out over there, and he's weighing in on it. Halle Berry, we got some news regarding her, some good news regarding her and Van Hunt. Connor Storrie and François Arnaud are fueling those homosexual rumors, dating rumors, because apparently they were spotted out at a restaurant together eating at the same table, and they were trying to say it was intimate, whatever the case. We'll break it on down. Plus, we got to talk about UK versus the world, the first pork chop queen of the season. I was not a little, I am a lot of pissed over the fact of who they eliminated. We'll talk about it, and she did an interview with Pink News, and we'll break down the interview where she weighed in and was not truly happy with some of the things that the judges' critiques and all of that other stuff. Plus, I have a rumored list of the Canada's Drag Race All-Stars upcoming season. Apparently, the list has leaked, so we'll get into that. Plus, we got to talk about that last episode of RuPaul's Drag Race. Child, I was pissed. Talk about pissed. That episode, lackluster. I don't know what was lackluster, that episode or the full entire season 7 of RuPaul's Drag Race. But yeah, that last episode was a hot ass mess. So we will get into that and my overall thoughts and how the wrong person was in the bottom. So we'll talk about that and a whole lot more. So before we get to those topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Let me hit that so we can see the names up in here. Cleveland is in the building. Happy Sunday. Feliz Domingo. Can't wait for the Benito Oh, that's what I said. I was like, I don't know who these people are that's playing at the Bad Bunny concert, but I'm here for it. I know one of my coworkers was saying the other day, he was like, "Oh, all the ladies and stuff was looking forward." I said, "It's not just the ladies, even the men." And I'm not even going to say men who are just gay. I think there are relatively some men who don't care for football that'll be watching because they're Bad Bunny fans, or a lot of them going to be hate watching because they don't like the fact that this man who was Puerto Rican, because you got them idiots over there at Fox News still telling people that Puerto Rico is not a part of the United States when it is. I'm like, you clearly feel high school or history in general. So Puerto Rico is a part of the United States. People need to stop with this fake ass narrative. And that man looking bitch that work over there at Laura Ingraham, because you can't tell me that bitch don't got a dick between her legs. So I said, if Bad Bunny is not a U.S. citizen, then you not a real woman, bitch. That's what I got to say about it. Good morning, happy afternoon. Yeah, because it is a hybrid. It is after 12. I was going to try to do another one early, but I was like, I ain't going to have time. First of all, I slept crazy last night. According to my Apple Watch, I slept good. I be having these intense dreams. I don't know what's going on. It might be ever since I started taking. Now look, I need them to start sponsoring the show. When I started taking this Mars Men testosterone pills or whatever the case is, I don't know. I be having these intense dreams and stuff. That, and I'm drinking this new mushroom vegan coffee that gives me a lot of energy and focuses me, called Rise, RYZE. I was like, oh, that's good. I need y'all to sponsor the show because I'm giving y'all free advertisement. Oh, Magical Mermaids in the building. You said you finally saw Fire and Ash, and it was, oh, so you liked it. Well, I know a lot of people was upset because it's not doing well. I'm like, it grossed over $1 billion. What are y'all complaining about? It's like $1 billion. I believe it was like $1 billion, 1.5 billion or something or another. It's still a hit. Yes, it's not as big as the second one, but anything over $1 billion I see as a hit. So, like you said, you went to sleep. Well, my bottom days was over about when I was in my 20s. I was like, I knew that wasn't for me. But anyway, let's get into this show. Wait, hold on. I was like, damn, I didn't realize I had so many topics. All right, let me hit the banner. Let's get into our first topic. Let's talk about Scream 7. So apparently, I believe today, as soon as they drop I'm not even sure. I think it might be today or tomorrow. But I believe after they drop the official Super Bowl trailer, which they leaked a couple of days prior, so I don't even understand the point of why we even do Super Bowl trailers anymore when I don't think they hold as much value as like a lot of these award shows. Like I just feel like in the world of social media, things have changed so much. A lot of people really don't take value into these trailers. It's the same thing like I was just reading a story about, they're talking about that the alcohol industry is losing a lot of money because Gen Zers are not drinking. And I said, yeah, because they vaping more and they're smoking weed. So that's basically what they're doing. They're not even drinking. They're getting high. So, and one of my sister told me, because she works at a high school, she said that the kids be flushing the damn vapes down the toilet and all kinds of other stuff. So I don't even know how they get their hands on it, but these kids find ways to get around to them vape. And it's probably because it's easier to get your hand on vapes and things than alcohol. So that's probably why that there's more or less of that. But anyway, I don't know why all of a sudden I went into that tangent. But anyway, so oh yeah, because we were talking about the Super Bowl. Because they had like the Super Bowl commercial was gonna be about beer and some of those stuff, and then like who can relate to it? Like it just feels very boomer with these trailers now. So yeah, so back to Scream 7. I don't understand the point of like doing these whole trailers or whatever when the internet is where it's at. YouTube, basically, you get a lot of those streams and everything on it, or a lot of those views or whatever. That holds more weight than somebody actually sitting there, oh, I can't wait to watch the Super Bowl so that way I can watch a damn trailer. I don't think a lot of people care as much as when they did when I was growing up. This generation, I don't think cares as much. But anyway, so after that, they're talking about that the tickets are supposed to go on sale, I believe, after they drop the trailer. So I don't know how they got these numbers, where they were sitting there talking about these early box office projections, where they're talking about that it may gross over $35 million opening weekend, which to me sounds great because a lot of people have been bitching and moaning about Scream. But you know, a lot of the people that's mad that Melissa Barrera was fired over her stance on Palestine, which I said millions of times on the show, I'm definitely here for her using her voice to speak out against any atrocity that's going on in the world, especially if it's being funded by this country and Israel. So if you want to sit up here and create whole genocides and stuff against people, especially people of color, it is definitely, I say, use your voice to speak out. So when people go up in there and say, well, celebrities need to just look down and just perform like Ricky Gervais corny ass, I'm like, SMD with all of that, because if you have the ability to want to speak up and use your voice, especially when you are in a position of power, then why not? So y'all are okay with people who are in position of power robbing you blind and taking away all your rights and your pensions and all those things. You okay with that, but you're not okay with somebody in a powerful position speaking up against any atrocities that's going on in the world. So I'm here for Melissa Barrera doing that. I did not like what Spyglass did in regards to them and Paramount firing her for whatever her political beliefs are. She has a right to express her opinion, just like a lot of these bigots out here get to express their opinion and keep it at that. But it's like when people speak out against it because certain people in positions of power, then y'all want to go and cast them out. So she's doing all right. She's got her little gigs or whatever going on here and there. But now they brought back my girl, Neve Campbell, which I don't give a good goddamn what anybody says. Neve Campbell at this point, with 7 movies going on, well, she's only been in 6. The only one who's actually been in every movie and has made history as being the only survivor that has been in all 7 movies is my girl, Courtney Cox. So shout out to her, because Gail Weathers been in every movie. If y'all kill her off in this damn movie, I'm going to be tight. But her and Neve and all of them being up in there, I'm glad they brought Neve back, because Neve is Scream. I know some people like to sit and say, oh, they don't particularly like the Scream movies because Ghostface isn't like Jason or Freddy or whatever. Yeah, he doesn't kill you in your dreams. He's not supernatural like Jason is, where Jason basically was resurrected and turned into Frankenstein in Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives. So yeah, now he's like a zombie Jason, whatever the case is, where it's hard to kill him. And Michael Myers, whatever that whole thing, where he basically is just the personification of evil and all those other things. So yes, Ghostface is not like those characters, and that's why we like it, because what we real Scream fans enjoy about Ghostface and the Scream franchise is the fact that the angle it has going for them, it's more of a, yes, it's a slasher film, but it's also a mystery. It's like literally watching a 2-hour episode of Scooby-Doo, where you have your characters, some people live, some people don't, and then you have to find out in the third act who the killer or ers are in this film and what their motivation is for why they're doing what they're doing in each movie and why they're going after Sidney Prescott. That's what we love about the movie. So if you don't get it, if you don't understand it, then this ain't a franchise for you. And I wish certain people would stop talking about it on a damn show, but whatever. But nevertheless, okay, so now, according to Deadline, and now that I've gotten all that out, because I had to go on my little tangent, according to Deadline, they said that Paramount and Spyglass Media's Scream 7 came on domestic tracking with a mid-30 million opening in store when it arrives in theaters on February 27th. If those numbers hold, it could be the second highest opening in a 30-year-old franchise stateside after Scream 6's record 44.4 million opening, that 2023 installment fueled by the Jenna Ortega Wednesday phenomenon. But I think people have kind of moved on from the whole Wednesday thing, because quite frankly, I liked Wednesday season 1. I never got around to watching season 2, and I just think that when Netflix, I'll be taking forever with these shows, I tend to just move on. Now, currently, Scream 7 is great with the 17, the 34, 17, 34. You tried it. First of all, the franchise is older than the 34-year-old, the 17 to 34. So, the OGs who've been with the franchise since the beginning, you know, what about us? Fuck our drag, right? So it says that currently Scream 7 is great with a 17 to 34 bunch and multicultural audiences across definite interests and first choice. Tickets don't go on to, okay, they said that it goes on sale Monday after the Picks pregame Super Bowl spot. Advanced ticket sales are typically a better indication of demand. Right now, tracking has Scream 7 coming on higher than Scream 6. The Conjuring Last Rites, which grossed 84 million, I think it was its opening weekend, and Final Destination Bloodlines with 51.6 million in first choice. There's an argument that with lower grossing motives like Send Help and Iron Lung presently on tracking, most forecasts are inflated. While Scream 6 took the action to New York City, Scream 7 brings it back to the small town, repping the full comeback of Neve Campbell's Sidney Prescott. Another big highlight of Scream 7 is that it brings scribe Kevin Williamson into the director's chair on his own franchise for the first time, a big deal to fans. Well, look, I'm actually looking forward to it because, and I'm glad that out of all the things, because I wanted Christopher Landon to come aboard and write and direct, but then y'all did what y'all did and y'all caused that man to go off and not want to be a part of the franchise because y'all was up in there threatening his kids and his family over a thing that had nothing to do with him. He just came on board. This was his dream role, and y'all pissed all over it, as majority of these toxic ass fans tend to do, where they act like they own the IP instead of just accepting things for what they are. And it's like, okay, it is what it is. Either we support it or we don't. And then now he's on board. So now we got Kevin Williamson back, who created Sidney Prescott and Gale and some of the other legacy characters. And now we're gonna see what he does with this film. I know, like, because he did Teaching Mrs. Tingle, people are giving it like, I don't know if he's gonna be able to do it. But I feel like since that movie, he has been on enough sets. He's been around Wes Craven enough to know like what he needs to do, who are the best people that he needs to surround himself with to make sure that this movie is able to succeed. So if you put the right people in the right positions, the movie will be a success, in my opinion, because it's all about who you hire and who you have. So of course he got the I believe it was like the original guy that scored was it Marco Beltrami? I think he scored like the original and a bunch of the other ones. So we brought him on, which is good. We got Roger L. Jackson back as Ghostface. Well, he's always been the voice of Ghostface. So I'm just excited. I also heard that they got 4 writers on this thing, and it makes sense because I never thought that Guy Busick and the other guy that he was working with were relatively strong writers for the Scream franchise. That's why I really have an issue with Scream 5 and 6, because I feel like they didn't understand Scream. They didn't understand the characters. I like the fact that y'all was taking risks and swinging for the fences and all these other things. But to be honest, I don't feel like you capture the core essence of what Scream really is about. So for them to bring on Kevin Williamson, who I know is also, he's an uncredited writer, unless we see the movie and they actually put his name in there. But if they don't, then y'all will hear, here's an uncredited writer. He did come in and try to spruce it up a little bit because he knows how the whole Scream thing is. I don't think Guy Busick and I forget the other writer they had before, but he left. So now it's just Guy Busick that came on and wrote this. So you got to have other people coming and spruce it up, because it's like, okay, we get another weak ass third act, I'm going to be tight. Because I didn't like the third. I mean, Mikey, I almost call him Mikey Meeks. Mikey Madison. Mikey Madison, I thought was a good Ghostface. She was really hammering it up. The Richie part, I was like, okay, this is so goddamn predictable. Like, I didn't really particularly, and I like the actor that played him, but I didn't particularly care for Richie in that role, and him convincing that he was a Ghostface or whatever the case. Because I'm like, this is predictable. Like, we've seen so many guys like him that end up being Ghostface, and I didn't particularly care for the Scream 6 Ghostface. I mean, the sister who I thought they killed, she was definitely. Why is it always the girls that be hammering up? They really be selling it as the killers. The the girl's brother, he was annoying. I was like, can y'all just kill him off? Like, he was corny. And Dermot Mulroney, I like him, and it made sense. But yeah, so I'll say all this to say I'm excited for Scream 7. I'm looking forward to it. I've been dodging a lot of the spoilers or whatever the case is, like Neo dodging bullets in the Matrix. So I've definitely been trying to be real careful in what gets revealed and what doesn't get revealed, because I definitely want to go in relatively surprised and want to figure things out on my own. So I've just been avoiding a lot of the spoilers. But if these numbers turn out to be true, that it's going to be grossing close to $40 million opening weekend, I think it's going to be a big win. And it also goes to show that, as I said many a times before, all this stuff about Scream 7 and people hating on it and being very this, and this. I said, there's a small group of people, yes, they're going to stand 10 toes down on how they feel about the whole Melissa Barrera fighting. But for the most part, most people do not care. They're going to go see this film. And a lot of people are pretty much happy to see Sidney Prescott back at the forefront. Now, I'm just wondering, like, if y'all don't keep this franchise going, at some point, we're going to have to start telling new stories because Neve Campbell can't be doing these roles forever. Y'all can, I mean, unless y'all gonna keep bringing up, paying her a lot of money and y'all got a lot of interesting stories to tell. But I do feel like it's gonna have to come to a point that maybe either phase her out the right way and not shadily like the Radio Silence tried to do with the legacy characters, where y'all try to sideline them and give us these core four that, quiet as it's kept, they were kind of, they were kind of boring. Like, there was nothing really exciting about those characters. It was interesting to see new people, but I don't think the writers did a good enough job to make them interesting or exciting, or for us to give a good goddamn about. Because to be honest, Jenna Ortega was definitely excelling as the final girl, more or less than Melissa Barrera. Melissa Barrera, I think I tended to have enjoyed her a little more in Scream 6 than Scream 5. Scream 5, she was irritating me. And Yaba Bailey wasn't really using her in a lot of ways. But Jenna Ortega, because she has that presence and she's such a good actress, she was starting to outshine Melissa Barrera in a lot of scenes. But Melissa Barrera definitely was utilized better in Scream 6. But at this point, it's like, yeah, pass the torch on to Isabella May, who plays her daughter Tatum. I hope they explain what's going on with Sydney's other child, because remember, in Scream 5, she had 2 kids. So we only seen that she got 1. So we got to find out what's going on with the other kid, or is it going to be retcon, or we in a multiverse? Like, I need to know. So anyway, let me wrap this story up because I feel like at this point I'm rambling. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts on this Scream 7 story, and let me know if y'all actually gonna go see it or whatever. So let me know in the comments down below. Mm-mm. Oh yeah, because I know it's like what is it, like about to be 10 o'clock? About to be 10 o'clock on the West Coast. He said society probably was healthier with okay. Probably what, because I always tell people, like, when you do that whole vaping thing, vaping is way worse. And I even told my sister that, who also vapes. And I'm like, and once upon a time I did vape, but I used to do the weed vapes. But then I stopped because my dog got a hold of it and he was hiding Cooter Brown and had to go to the hospital. And I was like, why is he laying up like tongue out on his back? Dog was high as a kite. Nobody told you to grab my damn vape pen and start chewing it. Did you hear they moved Michelle Obama's documentary to the kid? But that's, I mean, I was like, is that shade though? I mean, it is, it's fair. I mean, look, the documentary is for everybody, so why not? The kids should watch it. Never got into Scream like I got into Halloween, Friday the 3rd. And funny enough, I like all those franchises. Halloween, I definitely like. I did not like, I hated what David Gordon Green did with the Halloween franchise. Now, Halloween 2018 was good. Halloween Kills, the kills I liked. The movie overall was trash. That Evil Dies Tonight shit pissed me off. And Halloween Ends, as I've said it many times, as a standalone, it's good. As part of a trilogy, it's terrible. I think well, I hope so. That's what I said. I don't understand how they're going to write this whole prediction thing. I was like, can y'all wait to see like how the tickets do before y'all did that stuff? But I guess it was a slow news. They said to come up with something. I hope it does make over 40 million. Then we could shut these naysayers up. It's not just vapes. My generation is hooked on cartridges is what I would fiend for. My situationship at the time was a heavy drinker. At 17, 18 years old, he got in a car wreck and still, Jesus. So it's like, you didn't even learn your lesson. You got into a car wreck and you still out here drinking? I bought I bought Ghostface socks and underwear. You are so crazy. I mean, I wouldn't mind the socks thing. Oh, speaking of which, there's a whole, I forgot to bring this up. There's a lawsuit going on with Paramount Skydance and the people, some special effects company who said that they own the rights to the Ghostface mask. So there's a bitter situation. I'm like, please, I just hope that this doesn't affect this movie. But so far, it doesn't seem like it is. Yeah, as I say, isn't it about 10 o'clock where you went? Because it literally was about to turn 1 o'clock when I was saying it. That's why I put it. It was like 12:59 when I saw the post. I said, and I know Robert is on the West Coast because he was posting pictures on his social media. He sent me some. He was over there by Capitol Records. I was like, yeah, I think that's in like downtown LA because when I used to live in Los Angeles, I used to always go to downtown LA. And one time I just accidentally just stumbled over in that area where the infamous Capitol Records is. And then the Hollywood sign and all that stuff. All right, y'all. So now let's get into some old horror movie news. And let's talk about Charli XCX. So apparently, with her The Moment, first sidebar, I saw that they just released a soundtrack. I didn't even get to hear it yet. A.G. Cook produced it. I was supposed to listen to it when I went to work on Thursday. Wait, no, Friday. Because I keep forgetting today's Sunday. Why do I feel like it's Saturday? When I went to work on Friday, I was gonna listen to it, but I saved it. But I got caught up in listening to other music. And then I just totally forgot. And then on my way home, I was watching because on Netflix they dropped all the James Bond movies. So I was over there watching Casino Royale, and I totally forgot. I was like, look, I'll just have to listen to it next week or the next time when I go to work or whatever, which would be Tuesday, I believe. But anyway, so she has this movie called The Moment, which I know was supposed to be like a meta version, like the whole Brat era. It's like a mockumentary. I've heard that at Sundance it was getting mixed reviews, but they suddenly had something about that it took Sundance by storm. But I guess it did in a negative way because there was a lot of critics that was something. It's not a good thing. But anyway, I didn't realize this, but she's got a lot of movies that's coming out. So Charli definitely been out here dabbling in a lot of acting. And one of the movies she's about to do is working with one of my favorite directors, Takashi Miike, which I don't know if you've ever seen any of his movies. One of my favorite movies that he's done, horror movie-wise, and I know it's a classic. A lot of people you may have heard of it, may have not. He directed Audition. I think he's directed over 100 movies. And he also did a movie that I bought like a couple of months ago because I forgot how good that movie was. But it's called Blade of the Immortal. I was in the mood to watch it a couple of months ago, and I was like, damn, I thought I had it, so I wound up buying it. Such a good movie. It was like this guy whose sister, who I think was like, and she was special needs. We'll say that. I was trying to find the word because I don't want to say the R word. She was like special needs. This guy kills her, and then he goes and basically slaughters like 100 men. And then as he's like dying, where this woman comes down, put these worms in him and basically makes him immortal. And then he comes across this little girl whose father is slaughtered because they own a bunch of dojos or whatever the case is in the town. And this guy's just coming into town with his gangsters and like trying to take over people's areas. So the girl hires him to help her seek revenge on the people that killed her father. And he's immortal and all kinds of, it was crazy. Fight sequences, blood, all the things that I love. So Takashi Miike is definitely an iconic filmmaker. If you haven't seen any of his movies, check it out because he's definitely got a crazy point of view. But anyway, so Charli XCX and him are about to do a movie together. And some of the cast that's in this movie definitely sounds like it's okay, I'm on board. And the movie is going to start filming in Japan next month, where she will be playing a character possessed by a violent, tortured spirit. Now, the Brat star is also going to be joined in the movie by Millie Alcock, who is from House of the Dragon Season 1. She's actually about to be our new Supergirl in the upcoming Supergirl movie. We got Norman Reedus from The Walking Dead, actress, model, singer Kiko Mitsuhara from Attack on Titan, and Sho Kazamatsu from Tokyo Vice. Try to get in Tokyo Vice. Ansel Elgort is in that show, and I tried to watch it because of him, but that show was not good. So, I mean, it was kind of boring, so I stopped watching after a couple of episodes. So, now they said, known as Untitled Kyoto, the film will follow three best friends who meet up in Kyoto to rekindle their lifelong friendships. What is intended to be a carefree girls' trip devolves into a nightmare unfolding when Katie, played by Charli XCX, becomes possessed by a violent, tortured spirit, which was played by Mitsuhara in the Japanese horror tradition. So I'm wondering, are they going to do like the typical Asian chick with the hair in front of her face, like she's something out of The Ring. Because you know that whenever they do these horror movies, they all them little violent spirits be looking the same. So now they said the veterans of CAA Media Finance are launching international sales on the Buzzy package ahead of next week's European film market in Berlin, where horror movies clearly are the order of the day. Ross Evans and Yumiko what is it? Aoyagi wrote the script, which is inspired by the original idea of Charli and Mike. Oh, sorry, Miike. So Miike is a long time. Look at her collaborating on horror movie ideas. I just hope that, you know what, I'm glad that she's jumping into different things and is allowing her creative, like she's finding other ways to put her, what is it, like looking for other ways of a creative outlet, I guess is the word I'm looking for. Like, I like the fact that she's coming up with creative ways to express herself. And I just hope that the movie stuff is as good as the music, because there's some people that like to jump into acting. I'm like, that are singers and then they try to dive into acting. And for every Will Smith and Queen Latifah, there's a Beyonce. And y'all know Beyonce can't act. And a Madonna. I love Madonna, but girl, there be parts that you play that you excel in. Like, I loved you in Body Evidence, even though that movie was trash. I love you in A League of Their Own. I love you in Desperately Seeking Susan. I loved you in Evita. But anything else, when you try to do other actors, you're better off controlling the whole music thing. And the thing is, same thing with Beyonce. Beyonce can't act. You got to have personality to be able to act, and she's not somebody who's willing to let go and surrender in those parts. So, and that's what acting is. You have to give yourself over completely to the role that you're playing. So, as I mentioned before, they said among Miike's, he did 59 movies. I had him at 100. Notable credits include the cult classics Audition, as I told y'all, Ichi the Killer. Oh yeah, I saw that too. Assassins, which premiered at Venice Film Festival, and Harakiri, Death of a Samurai in 2011, which premiered in Cannes. The filmmaker is renowned for his movies' singular violence and transgressive content, often exploring horror, samurai, and yakuza genres, which are definitely genres that I love. And they also said that here's all the things that Charli XCX has coming out. She's starring in the remake of the 1978 cult horror classic Faces of Death, which they won't even show a trailer for that. It was banned on like YouTube or whatever the case was. Kind of like how the movie was banned back in the day. But I don't know what the movie's about. I've heard about Faces of Death being about like it's snuff films and all that kind of other stuff, where they were like, some of the stuff was actual footage and some of it was fake. But I'm actually looking forward to seeing that version, because I know Shudder is behind the production on that. So I don't know if it's going in the theaters or if it's going straight to Shudder, but and it's supposed to be coming out, I believe, next month. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. She's also starring in Greg Araki's erotic thriller I Want Your Sex, Kathy Gann's The Gallerist, Julia Jackman's period fantasy 100 Nights of a Hero, Romain Gavra's satirical action Sacrifice, and Peter O's intimate drama Erubchka. So House of the Dragon's Alcock, she recently wrapped the lead role in Diana Owina's Pusik's dark comedy Thumb. Norman Reedus is going to be in. They coming out with a Boondock Saints 3. First of all, I only like the first movie. I just feel like the Boondock Saints is overrated. Y'all want to kill me for saying that, but I don't care. I've always felt like the Boondock Saints was overrated. And then he has, I believe, don't they have one more season of that Walking Dead show with him and Carol? Don't they have another season of that, or is it done? I can't remember, because I stopped watching after the first season. So I can never stay with the whole Walking Dead thing. I just feel like that whole franchise has overstayed its welcome. So that's a franchise that needs to die along with the rest of them damn zombies. Now, and then they're going with a bunch of other things with all these other actors that y'all probably never heard of. So we don't need to go into that. But like I said before, I'm actually quite curious to see what these movies are going to be about. I like the idea that Charli XCX is jumping into other things, and not only is she just showing up as a hired hand, a hired face to star in a movie, that she's coming up with ideas. She's collaborating with other filmmakers, and they're helping her bring her ideas to life. So I'm definitely curious to see this once they finish filming it and they actually give us a trailer. I just hope that the movie is good. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Are you looking forward to checking out this new Charli XCX horror film that she's going to be working on with the legendary filmmaker Takashi Miike? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know what they are in the comments down below. Oh, oh yeah, I forgot how good that movie was because I was watching. I was so into it. Look who's back. Guess who's back? Back again. Shady's back. Tell a friend. It was like, Sailor Mermaid's back. Well, Magical Mermaid was asking for you the other day. He was like, where's that other mermaid? I was like, I don't know. She missing in action. But we did have a little we kikied. Why am I trying to change up how I talk? We kikied yesterday and he was like, how you doing? I was like, bitch, I forgot to check out and see how you was doing. And it was like, yeah, he been working, taking on them shifts. Not you bringing up Vanilla Ice Ninja Rap. Now that's another idiot that maybe Kid Rock should have asked to perform with him at that county fair show he about to do tonight, sponsored by Tabusa. That's what he should have been doing. You have Vanilla Ice, two has been one hit wonders. He said Takashi Miike is cool. I mostly read horror manga and have yet to get into my Japanese horror cinephile bag. Well, you definitely need to get into those because I do like watching the films or whatever. Have you ever heard of? No, I have not. What is that about? Let me know. I may have to check it out. I love the movie Dark Water, a very realistic thriller without being over the. Dark Water, is that the movie with Jennifer Connelly? It sounds familiar. Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot to mention Dick Tracy. She was good in that too. Brothers Mahoney. Well, she played two parts in that role in that movie. There's another diva that can't. Not you trying to read Janet Jackson. Because I was like, wait a minute now. Janet Jackson, her first gig was acting before she got into singing. Mm-mm. Yeah, it's dead season, so I'm picking up as much. Oh yeah, that was the one thing I hate about working in the food industry. It was that it was slow, especially when I worked at Shake Shack. Well, if you work in California, you're gonna work all year round because it's always hot out there. But when I came back to New York, it was like, yeah, it would definitely get slow during the winter seasons, but it was only because of the specific location that I worked, and that was the one that was by um Madison Square Park because it's outside and it's in a park. So a lot of people ain't trying to sit out in the park and come up and order food. You get those every now and again, but because of the way I worked, I always ended up getting good shifts. But everybody else was like, they would always give people the shifts that really wanted to be there and work. And they saw my work ethic, so I always got shifts. Everybody, or they would send you to other locations to fill in. Lord, I'm actually glad I'm off because it's like dry as hell over there at the garden. Like yesterday and today it was like dark. There's nothing going on. Um, but yeah, but I'm embracing myself because March, I saw that schedule and I gagged. I was like between two Cardi B shows, two Lady Gaga shows, FKA Twigs. We got Big East, which is like college basketball tournaments. We also got Knicks and Rangers, which ain't gonna be long before Rangers is out because they've been sucking so bad this season. Knicks been definitely kicking butt. Um, it's just been it's gonna be intense. It's gonna be busy, and I don't mind because I want to work on them shows. Especially like with Gaga coming back, and I need a vacation. Penny done grew up. Dunji Ito is a Japanese horror manga writer artist. If you like Japanese horror films, you'll love his mangas. He's one of my biggest inspirations in my art. The Japanese, well, isn't that why you got? Well, I would guess that you would be inspired by the Japanese manga stuff because based on your YouTube photo, it's kind of giving that whole vibe. Yes, the Japanese definitely know how to do horror. They're really good with this, and I'm not a big fan of like ghosts and supernatural horror, whatever. But I like when the Japanese do it because they're the way that they do it is really interesting. When you get like the Spanish horror, whatever, I don't particularly care for it because it's like, wait, what's an example? Like when they do the Nun and all that stuff, I'm like, these movies are corny as hell. But the ones that do, I won't say like the Spanish particularly. Like I think it's the Americanized versions of those. Because when I be watching some of them Spanish horror films, Like the coffee table. Oh my God, that movie freaked me. I could not finish that movie. That movie was crazy. I couldn't watch that. I couldn't finish it. I still haven't finished it. I refuse to go back because especially after this specific scene that happens with a baby, I was like, oh hell no. Nope, I'm done. But anyway, let's get back into the rest of the show. And let's talk about Green Day. So as y'all know, Green Day is going to be scheduled alongside Bad Bunny. Well, not alongside, but they will before Bad Bunny brings his butt out on the stage. Green Day will be performing for the Super Bowl. Now, they also did the Super Bowl pre-party, and they basically, of course, got political. Now, I know I shouldn't say it like that because Green Day has always been political. You know, when you're a punk rock musician, punk rock artists have always been political. They've been political for eons. Back when they came out with American Idiot, that was a political album. When they came out with so many of their records and what they do on stage has been their political band. Or I wouldn't even call them political band. They just basically will speak out against any establishment or the atrocities of what's going on in the world. So, and as I said before, as an artist, they have a right to do that. So, Billy Joe Armstrong basically made it clear that he is not here for ICE, basically. So the Basket Case singer who is set to perform during the opening ceremony at Super Bowl LX alongside his bandmates on Sunday shared a candid message directed toward immigration and customs enforcement during a performance on Friday night. So he says, this goes out to all the ICE agents out there, whoever you are. And that's what he said from the stage at an invitation-only concert held at San Francisco's Pier 29 on the Embarcadero, which is sponsored by Fan Fuel and Spotify. He said, quit that shitty job you have. Now, Armstrong went on to project that at some point in the future, key figures in the Trump administration would abandon the people enforcing their immigration policies, saying, quote, because when this is over, and it will be over at some point in time, Kristi Noem, Stephen Miller, J.D. Vance, Donald Trump, well, all of them will be in jail before, hopefully, when all this dust settles, except Donald Trump. Nothing ever touches him. Teflon Don is literally who he is. I mean, he's shitty Don, but also Teflon Don, because nothing touches him. Everybody else go to jail, but he don't. Now he said they're going to drop you like a bad effing habit. Come on this side of the line. Now Armstrong also reportedly amended 2 of Green Day's hits to include more timely political targets with the lyrics as he has in past performances. During American Idiot, the singer changed the line, I'm not part of the redneck agenda, so I'm not part of the MAGA agenda. Well, he's always done that because even when he came to Citi Field and I worked his show or the Green Day concert, which was excellent, by the way. I'd never seen them live, but I had a great time with them. And I was on the floor too in that heat. So that was a great show. And he's always changed the lyrics of that to the MAGA agenda. So that's nothing new. And they also said, additionally, while performing Holiday, Armstrong changed the line, the representative from California has the floor, to the representative from Epstein Island has the floor. Now, at the beginning of that song, Armstrong said, this goes out to Minneapolis in reference to the city that has been seen widespread ICE activity and resulted in the slayings of Renee Good and Alex Preddy last month. Now, reps for the White House, well, we don't give a fuck what the reps of the White House have to say or what Homeland Security has to say, because there's always going to be some corny thing. Oh, they're irrelevant. Oh, they're corny. Oh, they're tired. Oh, nobody cares about them. Whatever. It's always the same bullshit that they say every time when somebody goes against whatever type of agenda that they're doing, some smoke screen to deflect from these Epstein files and all these other things. And child, let me tell you, I read a lot of the Epstein file stuff. I gagged over some of the things in there. Many of children were unalived, tortured. It's like literally all kinds of stuff that these rich people have been involved in. And so it was absolutely crazy. Like when I was hearing about all these things that's going on up in there and how there's a well-known publicist. They even tried to drag Timothy Chalamet name into that one point because he was working with Woody Allen, Soon-Yi, that stink bitch. I mean, don't even get me started on her. Now I can see why Mia Farrow was the way she was toward that girl. So it was a lot of stuff that was coming out in the Epstein files that I was shocked over. And shout out to the Midas Touch, because the Midas Touch, they said that there was some stuff that was available for public consumption that the White House deleted they actually saved a lot of the stuff, and they was reading and posting all the other stuff on their page and on their Substack, and also talking about it on their show. So if you ever get a chance, definitely check out what they're doing with that situation. Also, Kyle Kalinske did a 1 hour reading of a lot of the stuff from the Epstein files on his show. So the people shout out to all of y'all out here doing the Lord's work and really exposing these oligarchs and these rich people who really are the ones pulling the puppet strings in this country and worldwide for who they are. And it's funny how like a lot of the European politicians and people who are involved in this stuff are getting what's coming to them. But in America, nothing. Because we have Democrats who are complicit and want to be partisan and don't want to hold people's feet to, because that man, the current president, could have been in jail years ago if him and Merrick Garland did what they were supposed to. If Biden and Merrick Garland would have done what the hell they were supposed to do, but they didn't. Because, you know, as I say, both parties are two sides of the same, or two wings on the same bird. So Trump previously opposed the decision to hire Green Day for the Super Bowl performance and also condemned Bad Bunny's upcoming set, even though he said that the reason why he's not going to the Super Bowl is because it's too far, which we all know is BS, because you have Air Force One that you could just jump on and they could fly your fat ass to the goddamn Super Bowl. But the fact is, you don't want to get booed. You're not being favored a lot by a lot of the American people. People are pissed. People don't want nothing to do with you. And recently they had at the Olympics, which they tried to clean that up over on all the media. This is why you can't trust mainstream media, because y'all are all part of this whole thing where people can't be trusted. Both sides. You didn't even have Fox News didn't even mention any of the Epstein files or whatever the case is, but they got time for Bad Bunny and mocking his name and spilling fake propaganda about his lyrics and just taking a visual from taking a visual from one of his music videos and trying to say that he's all about satanic this, that. I was like, come on, and y'all think because your base is full of bigoted, least educated white people that then they can't just go on social media and Google his lyrics and do a little Google Translate and figure out that that's not what it's about. He's far from that. Now, if you want to really take apart somebody's lyrics and side-eye them, is Mr. Fake Family Values Kid Rock, which we're about to get into him after this story. So I call BS on that whole thing. The reason why is because you're not very popular right now. And that's why he don't want to go to the Super Bowl. And quiet as it's kept, don't nobody want your ass there anyway. Because every time this man shows up at events where it's really hard to get into, it causes more chaos. I remember the times when he came to MSG and I had to get into work, it was hell. When Trump came, when they did we did his rally at MSG, and when he came for the UFC thing. But then when his popularity started diminishing again, he didn't show up to the last UFC event we had. Thank God he didn't. Then it was like the US Open. I had friends of mine who was working the event. I could work the US Open I wanted to, but I can't because the hours is crazy and the demand. I was like, no, I'm not doing that. Not for no 2 weeks. And plus, they take too much money out of your damn taxes, which is another complaint that a lot of my coworkers have had. So I was like, nope, I'm not doing it. It's not worth it. Not me. Been wound up with my feet killing me and my back killing me and all this other stuff. I got to wear a back brace. It's like, yeah, when you get older, you start feeling all the things. So, David said it was hell getting into the U.S. Open when he was showing up. So I don't think people want to be dealing with that. It's going to be too much chaos with people trying to get into they just want to get in and watch the football match and everything. And they just want to be able to say that they were there. And bad enough, people spent so much money going to the Super Bowl, just to go to the Super Bowl. So people don't want to be dealing with all that extra stuff because you want your ego stroked. So best bet, stay in your little bunker that you're creating in the East Wing of the White House and continue punching the air and posting your lives on live social, and Green Day, shout out to y'all, do y'all thing. But now, before I wrap this up, I came across this story over on Rob Shutter's Substack about Bad Bunny, what he was talking about that Jay-Z is basically pushing, because I didn't really have the Bad Bunny story, but I was just like, to combine it all together, I was like, this was an interesting story. So yeah, so he said that Jay-Z is basically pushing Bad Bunny to really push the boundaries in regards of tonight's performance. So He says, sources tell Naughty But Nice that Jay-Z is encouraging Bad Bunny to take a bold, boundary-pushing approach to his upcoming Super Bowl halftime show appearance. And yes, that includes wearing a dress and flying the Puerto Rico flag on the world's biggest stage, saying Jay wants this to be fearless, not shocking for shock's sake, but culturally powerful. Well, I got to stop you there because I feel like when you start doing the dressing, which is what Fox News tried to weaponize in order to rile up some of their base. You know, a lot of these men who are uncomfortable with anything that got to do with gender, anything with, playing around with gender norms or whatever the case is. So it's like, oh, look, who wants to be a fan of Batman? He wears a dress and he's doing this. And it's like, that's a man who's comfortable in his skin with who he is. And you're trying to go after these people who aren't comfortable with who they are and trying to rile them up. So yeah, if you do the whole dress thing and you're gonna be up there making out with dudes or whatever, okay, which Bad Bunny has done in the past. I think he did that. When did he do that? During one of his performances where he kissed the guy or whatever, and kissed the girl, whatever, and everybody was all up in arms. I'm like, whatever. So that does feel like, okay, you're doing it for shock value or waving the Puerto Rican flag. If you're gonna give a message, I feel like Bad Bunny is smart enough to not do things where he's gonna invoke shock value. Oh, I need to do this to try to pluck a nerve or get attention. He'll find ways to get his message across without having to make it feel forced. So I'm hoping that whatever he comes up with, it's to send a message and to unite and to bring people together. And those of you who don't want to be a part of the situation and want to keep the whole division and hating on people based off the color of their skin or their race or their sexual orientation, if that's what you want to do, then you go over there and create you a little bunker and just separate yourself from the world, because I just feel like a lot of these people are just mad that society is changing, the world is evolving, and y'all just can't keep the fuck up. So Jay-Z, through his company Roc Nation, serves as the NFL's live music entertainment strategist, giving him final say on halftime performers and major creative direction. He's also deeply involved in the league's NFL-inspired change initiative, which focuses on social justice, representation, and cultural impact, saying, quote, Jay keeps saying this moment has to mean something. Bad Bunny represents identity, freedom, and global Latin power. Why play it safe? Well, I don't think Bad Bunny's ever played it safe. Like, even with this album where he was talking about, because I did watch his interview with Apple Music, where it was Zayn and Ebro was basically the co-host, and they would talk, and he was just talking about, like, when he came up with his album, Debmar-Mercury, he basically said that he just wanted to dive deep into his culture and really understand what, a lot of his upbringing, his culture and all this stuff, and just want to incorporate that in the record. He wasn't doing all of this to win Grammys or whatever the case was. He comes in he shows up as his authentic self all the time. He's not trying to be anything he's not. And I think that's why people resonate so much with Benito, because he is relatively himself. He doesn't just show up and be like, well, I need to pander and I need to do this. So if this story turns out to be true, it's like, well, y'all really don't know Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny's never been the type to just come in and just like, oh, I got to do things for shock value's sake. He does whatever he does, it has to come from a place of authenticity. And I think that's why a lot of people connect and resonate with him a lot more. So with all that being said, I'm definitely looking forward to exactly what it is Bad Bunny is going to be doing tonight. I will definitely be watching the halftime show, and we'll be talking about it on tomorrow's show. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are. Okay, so is there a point that you're trying to make with that comment? I mean, did your asshole pucker a little bit because you can write gay in the comments? I mean, maybe you need to kind of look in the mirror, you fucking fudge packer. But anyway, so I say all this to say, whatever your thoughts are, let me know what they are, including, because nobody cares what that cocksucker had to say. Because how does that dictate, sir? Let me know in the comments down below. Mm-mm. I'm surprised you didn't post it. I forgot about that. It was so it was so obvious she was not singing live. Also, Mariah don't even sing live no more, and nobody gives. and nobody actually criticizes her for it. Mariah gives bare minimum as a performer. She don't even sing live anymore. And that's why I was like, shout out to Brandy, because Brandy was like, she don't perform Full Moon because she said she can't sing them songs in her current register. She says a lot of the vocals are like she sang them too high. And that's why I always say, when you young, you ain't thinking about all that. You're not thinking about 10, 15, 20 years from now. I'm like, damn, I still got to sing Full Moon and I got to sing What About and all these other songs when I get to be a certain age, when I get to be in my 40s, and it's like, oh, I can't hit them notes. So, and quiet as it's kept, Mariah can't hit them notes either. So it's like, but yeah, so then you take voice lessons, which you should always be taking voice lessons to keep your, your vocal strengths up. You don't just stop taking vocal lessons at a certain age. You should always keep it up. Because then it's like, okay, now how do I change the keys and sing it in this register? That's another thing that messed up Alicia Keys too, because Alicia Keys kept singing them notes in the wrong register, and now when you hear her today, it's like, how did you get a recording contract? Because back in the day, she could hit them notes. But yeah, I watched the opening ceremony. Mariah looked good. The hair was everything. The gowns was gowning. I like the little shawl thing, but she's always wearing like that stuff. She always dresses like she's some lady about to do a residency, or about to sing like torch songs in like some old smoky bar somewhere in the middle of nowhere. She always gives that look. But yeah, the fact that she was not singing live, but I think don't they all do pre-recorded vocals? I think many equate singing with your pre-recorded vocal as lip singing. Because I think it depends on, like, I guess what the acoustics or the way that they set up everything. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was. Super Bowl tickets were, yeah, I heard that they were expensive. Well, yeah, Brandi Carlile is actually, I'm actually working her show next week. She has 2 shows at the Garden. I think a lot of people are rooting for the Seahawks. Clearly, he said. Not she hasn't hit those notes since 04. Like that he stays true to himself, but I also like that you stay true to yourself. Thank you. And that's probably why this show is a success, because I just say what comes to my damn mind. And that's why that's the difference is with me and those people over there. And we're going to get into it. But we talk about the Sherri Shepherds and all of them. It's like that brand of talk, people aren't tuning into that anymore. That brand is dying off. That's why a lot of people are coming over to our neck of the woods and hearing what we got to say over here, because we're giving out unfiltered opinions. Where these celebrities, all they worry about is, oh, I wanna get these celebrities on my show, and I was like, I don't give a fuck. I could be in the same room with them people. What they gonna do? Try to whoop my ass? I want to see them try it. I ain't scared of nobody. I said the only people I'm scared of is that man above and my mother. That is it. Other than that, I'm scared of some whack ass celebrity. Well, I shouldn't say whack ass celebrity. I'll say some celebrity that I'm spilling tea on. We'll say that. Because I don't think celebrities are whack unless they do some whack shit like Nicki Minaj. They said we repel the petty and just yell it out. Who child of ghetto? Okay, so now let's move on into the rest of the show. And let's talk about this damn clown. So Kid Rock can't seem to catch a break, but guess what? This is the Pandora's box you opened. Now you got to deal with the consequence. So you was out here trying to pass this thing off as peace and love, but it's more division, all about dividing the country instead of uniting. Because I really feel like the root of all of this, why Kid Rock and them is doing what they're doing, is because they're mad that they're not getting a spotlight at the Super Bowl. Quiet as it's kept, y'all not entertaining. Who want to sit and watch y'all just walk back and forth on the stage, sing your little honky tonk music? That is not entertaining. So if you want to take that boring county fair shit over there to what Kid Rock is doing with Tapusa, which is what he's supposed to be doing tonight, or his little festival, be my guest. But unless you give in full-on spectacle like a Dolly Parton, which she's kind of under the weather right now, so I don't know if that's a good choice. Although I will say this, I did hear they're doing a Dolly Parton musical for Broadway. So I'm definitely interested to see how they're going to put all that together. But, or if you're giving like something really entertaining, like a Shania Twain or whatever the case is, then, because Shania Twain she's a hybrid. She does the country music, but she also, it has like a sense of a pop sensibility with it. So that would work if you had a bunch of dancers and quiet as it's kept. Here's a question. Has Shania ever done the Super Bowl? I feel like she has. So if you kind of do something like that, then I could understand it. But it's just some of you country people ain't that interested, especially Kid Rock. Like, how you going to do a Super Bowl? You only got like 2 songs that people know. The biggest one being "Bar with the Bar," and that was because MTV played that damn song into the ground. So, with all that being said, let's get into this story. Now, life comes at you fast. Look how old he looks. And that's what happens when you out here hating on other communities and stuff. Look, it ages you like rotten milk, not even the 2% kind. Now, they say life comes at you fast because it looks like Kid Rock's MAGA Music Festival has been canceled in South Carolina after a string of performers dropped out. This comes as popular band Shinedown pulls out because they didn't want to help him create further division. Because he'll be into he trying to unite the people, but I'm like, no, this is you trying to divide the country, especially when you sucking on Trump's shitty diaper the way you be sucking on it. So the multi-city festival was scheduled to run for 2 days per venue in 8 U.S. states from May 1st to this September 21st. However, it stopped in Anderson, South Carolina, which was scheduled for July 25th and 26th, will no longer take place, County Administrator Rusty Barnes told Fox Carolina, saying, quote, Anderson County has been proud to host Rock the Country for the past 2 years. The event was a huge success, drawing tens of thousands of visitors, making a multi-million-dollar economic impact on the upstate. An event of this caliber proved what a great venue and exceptional hospitality we have here in Anderson County. Of course, we are disappointed that Rock the Country will not return to Anderson this year. We are already planning additional major events that look forward to exciting announcements to come. Anderson County is committed to bringing high quality arts and entertainment to our community. And look, you can do whatever you want. You can hold your little shows, whatever the case is, where it is, but maybe down to people in South Carolina because of all the big names is dropping out. Ticket sales has been diminishing, and when you don't have a lot of people that want to stand up and do this show, then yeah, you're going to lose it. So now I wonder, because they're dropping out of South Carolina, where is who's going to be on the bills in these other states? So does that mean that they've done in total, or are they going to find more people to come on? I don't know if they're actually going to be able to find more people because they have Creed is performing, Brantley Gilbert, who I think is also Brantley, I believe, is performing at that Tapusa event tonight. Then you got Morgan Wade. Wasn't she eating Kyle Rich's box at one point? Then you got Gretchen Wilson, who that lady, where they find her hillbilly looking ass at? She been missing in action for almost, it seemed like 15 years. Then they had Lakeview, Hayden Blount, a bunch of people I ain't never heard of. But then I know a lot of people was dragging Ludacris, but then Ludacris, Shaka Zulu, who was a part of Ludacris's camp, said that he was never a part of the situation. So I don't know who to believe. I just don't understand like how these rappers is jumping on these bills with these bigoted white folks and these racists when it's like all of this is temporary. When I don't understand, like, okay, if you're a rapper from the 90s and the 2000s, why don't y'all do like what all these other people do? Like LL Cool J, when he had a bunch of rappers on a bill and y'all just travel together and do a tour. Why y'all can't, like Ludacris, and I would even say Nelly, but Nelly a damn coon. But it was like Ludacris, Nelly, all the rappers that came out, like I was gonna say Lil Jon, but shout out to Lil Jon because I just heard his son passed away. And a lot of the iconic rappers from back in the day, like Cameron and I would even say 50 Cent. Like just a couple of rappers from like the 90s and the 2000s all get together and do a tour. Like, why don't y'all just do that instead of jumping on this shit? I mean, who do y'all even know that these people in this group actually listen to that? Listen to that music. So they said those who purchase tickets can either transfer them to another Rock the Country stop and receive a $50 merchandise voucher to use it on site, or request a full refund by completing a form sent via email. The Anderson lineup originally featured Kid Rock and Jason Aldean as headliners, plus Creed, Shinedown, Brantley Gilbert, Ludacris, Gretchen Wilson, Parma Lee, Morgan Wade, Chase Matthew, Lakeview, Fox and Veed, and more. However, rock band Shinedown announced their exit via a social media statement on Friday, saying, "Shinedown is everyone's band. We feel that we have been given a platform to bring all people together through the power of music and song." And those are the type of bands that I like, are the ones who are like, you know what? We love everyone. We recommend everyone. We're not divisive. We're not over here trying to be like, well, we only want a bunch of bigoted, racist, incel assholes, and then the rest of y'all can go figure out who y'all like. And shout out to Wes Borland, who is one of the guitarists over at Limp Bizkit, who went and put out a whole birthday thing, was like F Ice and all this other stuff. So, he's been showing his support for, everybody who's been going through all the things they're going through. Y'all got to get on the right side of history. And never in my lifetime that I feel like that I would be living through a historical moment. But I feel like I've been living through many historical moments. I lived through 9/11, me being in New York. Then we're dealing with this current administration, all the things that they're doing. We're living through a whole genocide of people in Gaza and the Congo and so many other things. Like, I never thought in like I would be living through a time where all of this stuff will be, if people are smart enough to do it right and don't try to whitewash it as they usually do, put real history that's going to be in future history books for kids long after I'm gone from this earth, we'll be reading about. So it's crazy. I never thought in my lifetime I'd be living through many historical moments. So they said also, "We have one boss, and it is everyone in the audience. Our band's purpose is to unite, not divide. With that in mind, we have made a decision that we will not be playing the Rock the Country Festival. Now, acknowledging the decision will create differences of opinion. We do not want to participate in something we believe will create further division." So yeah, while Kid Rock running around here telling this lie that they're trying to unite the people, Shinedown basically said they're not going to be playing an event that's going to create further division. So it's the opposite of what Kid Rock is running around here lying to the people and telling them. And he said, "To our fans, thank you for supporting and believing in us. We love and appreciate you always." The band statement came after Ludacris also dropped off the bill. A rep for the rapper told Rolling Stone at the time, as I mentioned, Shaka Zulu, that there had been a mix-up and the lines got crossed and he wasn't supposed to be on there. Likewise, country musicians. Okay, so Morgan Wade did leave. So I was like, girl, are you a whole lesbian running up in here being a part of this whole? Oh, they said, oh yeah, it was Morgan Wade, because I was getting Morgan Wade and Morgan Wallen confused. Morgan Wallen ain't dropping on, because we know he an alcoholic and a damn racist. So he would have been, if he was asked, he would have did it. Or maybe he was asked and was like, y'all below my pay grade. So yeah, so Morgan Wade and Carter Faith, the Christian-inspired rock band Creed. Oh, so Creed did drop it. Okay, so I'm glad, because I was like, wait, what happened to all the other people? So yeah, Creed dropped out. And I saw Creed live because I worked their show. They're actually good. The Independent basically has contacted Rock the Country. They haven't responded. And they called it as more than just a festival. The website said it's a celebration of, now this is laughable, community, tradition, and the spirit that's carried America through 250 years. You mean slavery? Because when they talk about, because what does it say on the bill? Hold on. It said, wait a minute, it was in there. They said a festival for all the people, which we know is a lot, celebrating 250 years of freedom. Freedom for who? Because I'm like, it wasn't free for a lot of people if you weren't white and a man. Like it wasn't good for, the time wasn't good for women either. So, with all this being said, we already know Kid Rock is a loser, a clown, and a hypocrite who just mad that bigoted country performers aren't getting invited to sit at the cool kids table. So he had to go and create this event. Well, this event's always been around, but he had to go create this whole Tapusa event that's supposed to be rivaling Bad Bunny's, which we already know Probably 10 of y'all gonna watch that, and then hundreds of millions of people y'all gonna be watching the halftime special tonight. So while Bad Bunny, will be giving a historical halftime performance, Kid Rock Head and the other Z-listed nobodies performing alongside him will be giving County Fair teas. This is also the same man, lest we forget, who recorded a song with Joe C for the Osmosis Jones soundtrack promoting sex with underage girls. This is the same person who did a segment on SNL back in the day with Tina Fey and Jimmy Fallon making a sex joke about the Olsen twins, which if you go and look that up, the stuff, if you Google Schmoogle, it is the story about it is up there. However, the video that was a part of that has been scrubbed. So you can't find the video, but you can find the transcripts of everything of what went down with that episode. This is also the same man who closed a steakhouse in Tennessee last year so that his restaurant wouldn't be raided by ICE. So, Mr. Family Values, miss me with your fake outrage regarding Bad Bunny. Also, fuck ICE. So, we got that. And last but certainly not least, because I was like, should I even combine all of this? But I will. Let's talk about The View. So, they were talking about the whole thing with Kid Rock and Bad Bunny and all this other stuff on The View, and Sunny Hostin went in. So shout out to her because we got her situation. So, a lot of the co-hosts, they had a lot to say about the Bad Bunny backlash and alternate programming option that came along with those who are going to sit up there and talk about they're not going to watch the halftime special. We know y'all are lying. You're going to hate watch it. Especially faux news, they're going to sit up there and hate watch it, and they're going to spew all their bigotry and all their BS and lie to you, because everything about faux news is a damn lie. So The View co-host Sunny Hostin has slammed Kid Rock over the recording artist Bad Bunny criticism ahead of Sunday's Super Bowl halftime show, particularly calling out Kid Rock's problematic lyrics and liking underage girls, which is what I referred to earlier in the last segment. So now, days before the Puerto Rican Grammy winner takes the largest stage in pop culture, the View panel addressed Turning Point USA, or as I like to call, TAPUSA for short, mounting of a Kid Rock starring All-American halftime show aimed at counter-programming Bad Bunny's weekend set. Tell me you're not pressed without telling me you're not pressed. He is definitely pressed over this. Press. Speaking sidebar, I hope they actually bring Cardi B out to perform alongside him, since the man is performing tonight in the Super Bowl. Saying Puerto Ricans are American citizens because Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States. All Puerto Ricans born in Puerto Rico are here on the mainland are American citizens. This is what she said, taking issue with the Turning Point event's name. Also, Bad Bunny, while he speaks Spanish, as Ana Navarro does, as I do, we're all American, she said, turning toward her co-host. Hostin then said she felt the conservative criticism over Bad Bunny's decision to perform Spanish language songs at the Super Bowl represents just racism, pure and simple, before shifting her attention to Kid Rock's lyrics from the past. She said, I'd like to point out, and which is what I pointed out, some of Kid Rock's American lyrics. Hostin said before reading a portion of Kid Rock's Osmosis Jones song titled Cool Daddy Cool, which appeared on the soundtrack to the 2001 Warner Brothers animated film. So yeah, you got some guy up here promoting sex with underage girls on a soundtrack, an animated film geared towards children. But y'all want to talk about family values. Miss me with the bullshit. So she said it includes the following lyrics about underage girls. Young ladies, I like them underage. See, some say that's statutory, but I say it's mandatory. She finished telling Rock, so if that's more American, go for it. Now, I like to point out some, wait, hold on. So I just realized the same thing as the answer. Then they said Kid Rock previously criticized Bad Bunny's upcoming Super Bowl show, saying he said he's having a dance party, wearing a dress and singing in Spanish. Cool. We plan to play great songs for folks who love America. Well, clearly you don't love America, because if this is what you putting up in here, I was like, you don't love America, because if you did, you wouldn't be saying all the stuff that you're saying and trying to pass your tired ass music on to people, because you ain't been relevant in like almost 2 decades. Like, you have to go to a small little part of America for for you to even make any kind of money. You can't come to New York City and sell out the theater at Madison Square Garden, and the theater houses 3,000 people. You couldn't sell that out. Not in New York. You can't even sell out Madison Square Garden on your own. So, the world's most famous arena. So, you ain't that boy, sir. Bad Bunny doesn't even do arenas. He sold out multiple nights at Yankee Stadium. He does stadium shows. While you're over here bickering and bitching because your career isn't where his is. And that's because he's showing up as his authentic self. When you've been a fraud since day one. So then Alyssa went on and said, first and foremost, it's a business decision by the NFL. I guess this might be the most watched. Listen, people want the rage bait. They want the engagement online. But at the end of the day, Kid Rock is a very average artist who has mostly kind of gone past his prime. Average might be generous. And absolutely, they read his ass down because I'm like, when I was coming up in the era of rap rock, Kid Rock was not one of the people. Yeah, they were pushing him out there and trying to make him this thing, but he never was on the same level as the bands that I listened to, which would be Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, Korn. Damn, what's the name of the band that Jacoby Shaddix was in? um, when you had Stain and so many other bands that kind of had that whole rap rock sound. Like he was never that artist that I listen to. I like Incubus. Damn, who was the band that sang Youth of a Nation? I'm starting to forget names and stuff up in here. So he was never on that same caliber of rap rock artists. I don't know why I'm forgetting. It's an American singer, songwriter, and rapper. What was the name of the band? Oh damn, he's 49. Papa Roach. That was I was a big Papa Roach fan. Cut my life in two pieces. This is my last resort. And what was the other band I said? Um, but they were more like a Christian rock band because they had a song on The Matrix too. So but yeah. So yeah. So shout out to you all over there at the View for throwing the shade. I want to see if anybody else said anything else. And you know what? I totally understand like why, and it's unfortunate. I really wish that Bad Bunny would have toured the United States with his latest album. But I'm glad you did the residency. He made the tickets more affordable for a lot of his fans to come to Puerto Rico and see the show, which is what I said. Now, if Bad Bunny could pull that off with his fans for the residency, that there's no excuse why a lot of you celebrities, Gaga and the like, are charging people and Harry Styles are charging people $3,000 per seat for a floor ticket. Like y'all could bring them prices down, but I feel like y'all choose to be greedy. Now, if Bad Bunny has the power to actually bring those prices down, y'all, there's no excuse for the rest of y'all. So yeah, Kid Rock, you wanted the attention, you're getting it, and you're just some average has-been wannabe rapper musician who never really cut it. You were just okay. You were never that guy. I never particularly cared for you when you were all over MTV and TRL back in the day when they kept trying to shove you down our throat. I was never really a big fan of you. So you will just have to see what those numbers are for this little event that you have going on, because we already know that numbers is going to be worse than your numbers aren't even going to come to a smidgen. Not even, I don't even think 10% you're going to be able to capture of what Bad Bunny is going to be accumulating tonight over on network television while he's performing his Super Bowl halftime. So stay mad, maggots. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding his little festival getting canceled in South Carolina, as well as what Sunny Hostin and the ladies of The View had to say about Kid Rock? So he wants to sit up here and question the things that Bad Bunny is saying and what his music's about, and him wearing a dress. So fucking what? It's an outfit. Dresses, it's part of clothes. You know, back in the day when men would wear heels and like dress type outfits and actually had a little weight on you, even the women, it showed your wealth in a lot of what you wore. So when people try to flip it around and make it all about gender things, when education is your friend, that's what I'm just like, I'm not going to no longer engage with people, low hanging fruit, people who aren't the brightest, people who have no kind of education or anything. If you choose to be stupid, that's just a choice at this point. So Let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. It was POD. I could not think about I could not remember the name. It's like all of a sudden I'm forgetting names and things of bands because I was a big POD fan back in the day. The Michael Jackson musical is coming here soon. Does that mean it's closing? Because I heard like a lot of Broadway shows is closing. There's a couple of shows that's closing, and then there's some new shows that's coming to Broadway. I'll say that's I did that story the other day. Bob the drag queen about to be unemployed because they're about to close. Um he just started in Moulin Rouge, and now they made the announcement that it's closing. So I'm definitely we'll talk about that story tomorrow because that's some Broadway tea. Not Ernest Tries to Rock the musical. I used to like Ernest. Ernest Saves Christmas. Ernest Scared Stupid. I should have said this in the last time. I was listening to Charm Bracelet earlier this morning, and I really like it. She may have been in her flop Kaya era, but I would have been obsessed with it. And Charm Bracelet was an underrated record. It's funny, like when you talk to a lot of the lambs, they will literally tell you that because I forget where it was. There was a conversation we was having about Mariah, and people was talking about because somebody said she ain't been relevant since like one of the albums. It was like you forgot about Emancipation of Mimi was her biggest record her biggest comeback record. And a lot of people say like Charm Bracelet is underrated. So a lot of people tend to like that album. Historical events manipulated by the evil. Exactly. The Great Recession and COVID will also, that too. We had whole COVID, we had the Great Recession, and trust and believe a second one is coming under this administration. And then there was a recent story that was done. Kyle did this on his show and was talking about how like more people are saying that they miss Joe Biden over Trump. And I was like, yeah. So the reality is, and trust and believe, there are things about the Democratic Party that piss me off, but I'd rather a boring administration where it's just they out here trying to make the world livable for all of us with the economy and all this other stuff and help them grow jobs and all this other stuff than the chaos that is coming with this current administration where a lot of people are losing their jobs and are able to pay their bills and and all their medical insurances are being cut and all these other things. So I would rather that than people having to die because a current administration could give two shits about you. I can't believe we still remember Kid Rock. What is his name? Rob Ritchie or something or another? Being a two-hit wonder, you would think he would try being less polarizing. Well, he's showing us who he really is an indoctrinated bigot. It's funny enough, I believe he's always been that way. And the worst part of it is he has a half-black kid. Those are the worst people. Is that these racists who stick their dick in black pussy create a child from it, and then they push their racist agendas. It's no different than a master sleeping with his slave. Wait, did I read this one? Oh yeah, I did read that one. Oh yeah, that too. The Astro. You said Astroworld. No, people died at Astroworld. That's the worst thing about that one. We don't want to think about Astroworld. I would like to know why is it that all these has-beens keep flocking to ally themselves with Trump? Yeah, I don't understand it either because I keep telling y'all, those of us who grew up in New York and were aware of Trump and a lot of the crap that he was doing, we try to tell y'all about that man. Why do you think he don't come back here? The only time he come back is if he's going up in the garden or whatever. But New Yorkers, we don't like him here. Maybe the rich folks do, but for the most part, he's always been seen as a clown, a loser, someone who was horrible at business. But yeah, Antonio Sabata Jr., Scott Baio, who's the fat one, Dean Cain, all of them. Margarine was putting it mildly. He's almost a one hit. Well, he didn't have that Bar with the Boss song. And then he had another song too called Picture. But also the band Filter had a song called Picture, but their Picture song was way better. Robert Patrick's brother, the actor, he said Wingstop 99 was nothing but rap rock. That was like the one time I was like, yeah, my generation actually got to experience Woodstock, because Woodstock, of course, is before my time. I was not born in the 60s. I'm a child of the 80s. So when Woodstock 99, I wanted to go, but I was like, mm-mm. I'm a Virgo. We don't like mud, all that other stuff. It was a lot for me to even go to Ozfest back in like the early 2000s and dealing with the sod and all that other stuff that was out there. But this girl who had a crush on me, invited me to go with her to, um, Ozfest. And this was at the height of them and the reality show over on MTV. So I was like, I'm gonna go. And it was fun. I believe the second new metal band you're saying. Oh, yeah, it was. But I was like, I liked a lot of new metal. Linkin Park, like it was. Kid Rock wishes he was as good as those bands. Don't take this the wrong way, but I much prefer having Trump in office than Biden for medical reasons. Wait, what does that mean? Were you saying for medical reasons? Well, it was like, what medical reasons? Because, um, okay. Now, if you want to come up here and make comments about somebody being a lie, at least be specific as what the fuck you talking about, dumbass. Um, allegedly. Oh, you're talking about what this? But look, Trump got dementia allegedly, and he shits himself, and that's probably due to because he does speed allegedly, Adderall, snorting it. So one of the side effects is you got those bowel situations where you can't control your bowels. So he up in there tooting around the people and in front of them, and they gotta sit up there like you ain't got no kind of couth. Like you just be up in there letting stuff just protrude out your ass, and people got to sit up there and smell. That's why they cleared out the White House. Now, if that's one way that man could clear a room, let him shit in public. Who knew that's all it took to get people out of a room? This shit is embarrassing. But look, I blame the Biden administration for where we are, because if y'all would have prosecuted him to the full extent of the law and we didn't have APAC asserting themselves in a lot of stuff, which I already heard, there was a story that came out about a war chest. Hold on, because I posted it on my social media. APAC is trying to gear up their war chest for this upcoming 2028 election. I was like, nope, we don't want it. Go away. Oh, no, they said the midterm. So your favorite guy, God Christensen _ posted this. Oh, wait, isn't God Christensen the one that just got, I think he won a case or whatever because he was going to college and they kicked him out of college because they expelled him because he was speaking out against what Israel's doing. So now we got schools getting involved in people losing their education because you're exposing these shills over in Israel for what they're doing. So he basically posted from Haaretz, AIPAC gears up for U.S. midterm election cycle with 95 million war chests. So, and this was posted on February 3rd of this year. And it's like, no, we don't want it. We don't want y'all getting involved. We really don't. Anyway, let's move on because I wasn't trying to make this show political. Let's get back into the show. Let's talk some more NFL Super Bowl news. Because apparently, according to reports, Cardi B out here showing her entire ass. So, and that's a whole lot of ass. Now, a source close to the team claims the up rapper, who's 33, is a lot to deal with. Always speaking loudly and allegedly giving her fellow wags the cold shoulder in a diva-like way. Well, you already know. First of all, she Dominican, she from the Bronx. Them bitches be loud by nature. So it is what it is. Now, the Patriots are not a franchise that likes flashy behavior, the insider told The Sun in a report published on Saturday. The source continues saying she's always looking to be the center of attention, has no filter and no limits, and acts like she could do whatever she wants, and the same goes for her entourage. Well, here's the thing. And I would not be surprised if Cardi has heard about this article and is going to do a whole Twitter rant on it or Instagram rant. I'll just be waiting on it. But somebody will ask her, but she's always been loud. Like, this is nothing new. Now, I just hope that this isn't true where she's going up in there trying to act like she's the center of attention because she's got a baby and hunching Stephon Diggs. That she's literally up in there being a respectable I guess we call her a wife. I mean, she's not a wife. She's not married. First of all, she got to get divorced from Offset first before she even try to get married to somebody else. So the update, they said, comes shortly after a source revealed the Grammy winner's plans to spend big money at this year's game as she supports her boyfriend, Stefon Diggs, with whom she welcomed her fourth baby in November of 2025. Saying she's incredibly excited and fully locked in, a source told The Sun earlier this week. This isn't just about attending the game, it's about showing up for her man the biggest way possible and celebrating with everyone they love. Now, according to the outlet, Cardi invited 100 friends and family from both sides to San Francisco to watch the main event and is paying for 40 guests to be in a private suite at Levi Stadium. It's going to cost about $125K. Now, she also reportedly is taking care of the ticket costs for the other guests to sit in the stands, costing between $700,000 and $725,000. She is additionally said to be booking 4 private jets to bring guests to San Francisco. Now, after the game, whether the team wins or loses, the Bodak Yellow rapper will be sponsoring another private party for her beau at a rented location costing around $30,000. Well, here's the thing. If Stefan can spoil her by, renting out a whole castle for them to hunch in and all the other things. That she's like, the least I could do is, I'm gonna rent out a suite. I'm gonna get a couple of private jets. I'm gonna fly everybody in. I'm gonna basically take care and accommodate everybody. I mean, shit, I would do the same thing if I was in a relationship where I would just go hard, and be like, you know what? No money, leave no expense. Like, I mean, they would spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars just so that way I can have some of the people that I care about spend this time with me or whatever the case is. So why not? So, but I don't know if I would be doing that particularly for Stefan, because he out here with a whole bunch of Irish twins, triplets or quadruplets, whatever you want to call it, because didn't he knock up 4 different women around this within a year? And y'all all pushed out a bunch of babies with him. So that's a little messy. So I don't know if I would want to be trying to do all of that when your man out here being sloppy with his penis. So they also said she's covering most of the expenses herself because she wants him to feel supported and celebrated. She keeps saying this might never happen again, so why hold back? Well, that's true, because who knew the Patriots would be at this point? Because everybody be thinking every year is going to be the Kansas City damn Chiefs, but there's so many people from that team. Patrick Mahomes and all them got injured, so they were out, which is probably a good thing because I got tired of seeing the Chiefs up in there always, trying to make it. It's not like I'm necessarily trying to hate on one particular it kind of sounds like I am, though. But it's nice to see like other people could come in and have their moment and get a chance. Just like I'm rooting for one day that, the Knicks, we almost made it to the playoffs last season. Then that coach was doing some dumb shit. Thank God my boss had him chopped. And then now we got a new coach up in there, and they've been playing a whole lot better. So I'm rooting for them to actually make it to the they get to, we make it to a point where we actually win the playoffs or whatever the case is. But I'm always rooting for the Knicks because that's my team. But for the most part, with the football thing, I mean, I would do this. Like I said, I would do the same thing, but I don't know necessarily because Stefan a little sloppy out here, hunching all these different women and doing all the other things. I'm just like, I don't know, but. If Cardi want to do that for her man, and she should, but also says, let's not be disrespectful and doing all the crazy stuff where you trying to act like you like the bee's knees up in this situation. But I guess when one of the football players is messing with or in a relationship with one of the biggest female stars in rap right now, that leaves I feel like a window for those fellow wags to be kind of jealous. So maybe there's a bit of jealousy there in a way because it's Cardi B and she's got this larger than life personality and she's somebody who's got a lot of money and a lot of pull and a lot of power and a lot of influence. So these women are probably feeling away because while they have they have to depend wholeheartedly on their man, giving them the black card to run around and do whatever because they probably depend on their man to pay for every damn thing. Cardi don't have to depend on Stefan to pay for stuff. He could, him doing things with her or for her is a bonus, but she got her own money. And that was, I think, the thing when it comes to people like Cardi B, when you're your own boss, when you're someone who's got their own source of income and don't have to depend on no man to take care of them financially, sometimes that rubs people the wrong way. But we'll see if Stefan is in the same vein of like a Travis Kelce, where he's not bothered by the fact that his woman is a bigger name than him or is well known and has a bigger wallet. Well, I don't know how much money he has, but I'm just saying, like, who has their own money and doesn't have to depend on him to take care of them? Which I would think that some men would be for that rather than, oh, I got to take care of it. I got to be the man and I got to pay for everything. Like, you would think that some of these men would be all for, like, a woman having their own and not having to solely depend on them for every type of financial situation, like you would walk an ATM. So I say all this to say, what do you guys, almost close out the wrong damn thing. What do you guys think of this story? I'm trying to take out the picture, but then I almost hit the wrong button. So anyway, so what do y'all think of this story regarding they're saying that, yeah, Cardi be out here showing her entire behind and acting like a complete diva when she's around the other wags, you know, in the whole football situation. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Yeah, he definitely has some integrity, and there was some things I liked about him. I hated he was the worst on foreign policy. So, yeah, so that was like that was one of my main issues with him, the whole foreign policy thing, funding a genocide. He started the funding. It's gotten worse under this current administration, but everything under this current administration is always worse. But yeah, my main issue with Biden was his foreign policy, the way he handled foreign policy. She tried to say it in a recent interview that she is actually an introvert. Who, Cardi? You want to know something weird? I actually believe her. um, I do believe that. I totally believe that she is an introvert. I feel like a lot of times, a lot of artists are extroverts, which is like in real life, a lot of us are introverted. We're very much quieted to ourselves and we don't want to. But when it's time to be on, we perform. And that's how I am too. Like in real life, I am an introvert. I'm very much quiet and reserved and just watching everything, whatever, because I'm feeling people out and trying to, and I'm not just all, hey, how are you? Like I'm not, I always feel like that's me being fake. If I'm very assertive in the beginning, I'm always kind of reserved. But when it's time, when the lights, camera, action, when it's time to perform, I'm giving you the extroverted, energetic side. But yeah, if you ever saw me in real life, I'm very much quiet, surprisingly. Some people be shocked by that, and I'm like, yeah, because you know me, that's why, and I'm comfortable around you. But remember, take a trip back to when you first met me. I was very much like reserved and quiet. And most people take that as me being shady or standoffish. I was like, no, I think it's just the Virgo side of me. I'm sizing you up. I hope your tour, I hope it does too. I mean, I don't know how well the tour is doing. She's got 2 nights in the garden next month. She's the first week, and then the next week. Wait, no, I think it's the week after. Gaga is first. Gaga has 2 shows, and then right after they do Gaga's loadout, they have to load in FKA Twigs' stuff. So it's literally 3 days, 2 days of Gaga, and then the next day is FKA Twigs, and then the following week it's Cardi B has 2 shows. So it's gonna be crazy. I can't wait to see that damn schedule for next month. But I got time. We got till like the 14th to submit our whatever. But then we probably won't find out till like towards the end of the month, like the 22nd or the 23rd, because it takes them a minute to put that schedule together. But anyway, so yeah, but I do hope that her tour sells out. All right, so now let's get into this mess. Let's talk about this story. So I don't know why anybody was shocked. I think I was like, really? And then I was like, yeah, that's him. Typical him. So yeah, Donald Trump got dragged on social media because he posted a picture of the Obamas as monkeys. Now I'm not gonna post it because I'm like, I'm not playing it, but I do got a picture regarding him. Since he won't play this game, we're gonna play it with you, sir. So um but he said he not apologizing because he didn't do nothing. But sir, you the one that posted it on live social. You the one that's been out here making multiple racist things or said many racist things for decades. For over 30 years, you have said many racist things. You even started the whole birther thing with Barack Obama saying he's not an American when he is. Because if he wasn't American, he wouldn't be able to be president. It's kind of like when one of my coworkers said, oh, he would like to see Zoran Mamdani become the president. I say he can't because he was born in Uganda. So if you were born in the United States, then you have a better chance, but not when you're in the US. Not when you're from another country. Now, one of the many seedy guiding principles Donald Trump acquired from his mentor, Roy Cohn, was admit nothing, deny everything. And today that approach, well, it was a couple of days ago, was evident as the former Apprentice host tried to wiggle out of a vile AI-generated video posted on his live social depicting Barack Obama and Michelle Obama as apes. Now, speaking with reporters on Air Force One, because it seems like that's the one place that he likes to go to do his reports, he'll go and find the noisiest place to do his, conversing with reporters. I've been noticing that. So yeah, on February 6th, while he was on Air Force One, he was asked by a journalist whether or not he would apologize for the video in which the faces of Barack and Michelle were imposed over the bodies of two apes, as the token song "The Lion Sleeps Tonight" plays in the background. In response to the journalist's question, the president replied, "No, I didn't make a mistake. I think I look at a lot of thousands of things. I looked at the beginning of it. It was fine," Trump continued. "I guess it was a takeoff on The Lion King, and certainly it was a very strong post in terms of voter." Oh my God, this man just speaks retard every time he opens his mouth. Now, after Joe Biden won the 2020 president election, Trump has repeatedly made debunked claims that the election was stolen. No, people were tired of your shit because you were horrible during your first term. And then they were like, "Oh no, we need another change," which I find relatively bizarre that y'all was so mad during his first term because he did a horrible job, as he does with every job that he does, he's horrible at. Then you go and bring in Biden because you thought he was going to clean up his mess, which he did. And then because of where we were a second time, you decided to repeat the situation. And this man has just destroyed all of our relationships with our allies. When y'all voting him in again, now I feel like it's gonna be bad. It's gonna be pretty bad on the next president that comes in, because this administration has ruined so many of our relationships with a lot of our allies, with Canada and Mexico and so many other people, Venezuela, with so many people from around the world, that when it really comes down to the situation of, well, how can we trust that y'all won't make the same mistake and continue to vote another Trump type in office that is more about dividing than uniting? Then how do I know you're not going to make that same mistake again? And then now it's like, we can't trust you because this is the second time y'all did this shit. So now we got these politicians out here who we were in good relationship and good standing with, that are going to be looking at us like, well, I don't know if I could trust y'all, because these people in the United States keep voting for the dumbest people to put in the damn White House. But then again, like I said, it was Biden's fault, because if y'all would have prosecuted his ass back when y'all had enough evidence, then we wouldn't be in the position we're in right now. And I'm not saying that Kamala would have been anybody. I mean, she would have been way better than what we're currently getting. But at least if there was any of the things that we had issues with, like her not denouncing what Israel is doing to the people of Palestine, we could have held her feet to the fire and we could have held her accountable, and she wouldn't have behaved the way he's behaving. That anything you say, if you say anything remotely against his administration, they want to throw you in prison, they want to deport you, even if you're an American citizen. They want to do all these other things to shut you up and to scare you into silence. So I don't think we would have gotten that with her. But like I said, we could have held her feet to the fire if she would have did some shit that we didn't agree with politically. So I don't know why y'all surprised that he didn't apologize. He's never apologized for anything he does, even though we know he's in the wrong. So he also went on to say, nobody knew that was, what? I think they meant nobody knew what that was in the end. If they would have seen it, and probably they would have had the sense to take it down. You're the one that posted it. So what are you talking about? And then you talking about the election was stolen. You know exactly what you were posting. But let's not act dumb and try to act like you don't know that equating Black people to being an ape is racist. We're not going to sit up in here. Yeah, because I want y'all to hold on. Let me take this out because I want y'all to see this full picture. So I'm putting that there. So we're not going to sit up in here and act like we don't know what all of this means. That you're not up in here trying to microaggression, like put out a microaggression and literally put out that, yes, when you equate Black people with apes, that is racism. That's racist. And that's why I said, I know this motherfucker ain't talking, because you literally look like an orange orangutan. You look like the orange orangutan that was in the last Planet of the Apes movie. Literally, that was you on that damn screen. So if you're going to sit up here and try to spew things, at least be upfront about it and stop trying to act like we stupid. And I think even the white people that voted for his ass kind of, I don't know, you should have went there with that whole situation. Like, even they're like looking at it like, okay, you went a little too far. And he knows he went a little too far. But this is what this administration does. They like to see how far they could push the line, toe the line, and see how y'all react, and then try to redact what they did. Kind of like them Epstein files where they try to redact. But a lot of the stuff has come out, and we already know that you're a rapist, you're a child unaliver, because all of that is in there. You've been mentioned more times in the Epstein files than Harry Potter's name been mentioned in all 7 Harry Potter books. So you're a guilty, disgusting, 35 plus convicted felon. And people still make excuses for him. Y'all can just go drown yourselves. I don't care what y'all, what y'all even have to say. So Caroline Levitt, who about to give birth to Damien from The Omen, basically defended Trump's post in a statement and said this is from an internet meme video depicting President Trump as the king of the jungle and Democrats as characters from The Lion King. Girl, don't start to spin this like we dumb. Please stop with the fake outrage and report on something today that actually matters to the American public. So if that's what it was, and y'all standing 10 toes down on what y'all saying it was, because you're trying to play in our face like we dumb. It's like what I always say about my girl, Judge Judy. Don't piss on my leg and tell me it's raining. So the post was later removed. A White House official said in a statement to People, a White House staffer erroneous made the post. It has been taken down, of course. Now we're going to blame it on everybody then who it was, because if it's Lie Social, that's your site. That's your website. So how you going to sit up there and blame it on somebody else when we know it's your site? He did it. Now, do I think that he has people that speak Trump that write on his page to continue to rile people up because he's not always going to be on there to do it? I do believe that he has people that do it, but the man's ego is so damn big. He wants to be able to have control over what is and what isn't said on his social medias. Just take ownership. But like I said, Trump will never do that. He's never been one to take responsibility for anything. Everything is great. Business is great. And nobody creates disasters, even though he's a walking chaos demon. But it's everybody's fault but his. But like I said, if you felt what y'all was doing was great, and if you standing 10 toes down on the shit that you post, then why remove it? Keep it up. Since you big and bad, since it wasn't something negative, we need something more important to talk about, according to that old dumb bitch that stands up there with that cross around her neck. I'm surprised that shit didn't burn her skin or turn her into ash, because you the last one that should be wearing a goddamn cross around your neck, as evil as she is. So now the post was later, as I said, and then they said multiple Republican politicians have called on Trump to apologize for posting the video, including that tap dancing coon with the big gums and the baby teeth, Tim Scott, who said that he was praying that the video was not you playing that it was fake. Can't with him. When he coming out of the closet? And then they said because it was the most racist thing I've seen out of this White House. Really? That's the most racist thing you've seen? Take your little Bojangles shoe-shining ass and go play in traffic. Now, Scott, who endorsed Trump for president in 2024, concluded the post by urging Trump to remove the video. Now, following Scott's criticism of the video, Trump said that he spoke with Scott. Oh, please, who gives a shit? And they also said the president's post advantages a long-standing racist trope used by slave traders and segregationalists to dehumanize Black people and justify their mistreatment, which they all knew that. But as I stated before, I truly believe, or maybe I'll send this in a conversation about it and say it here, all this is a distraction from the Epstein files. The Epstein files is out. Things have been, a lot of the YouTube commentators, political commentators, have been talking ad nauseum, and rightfully so, about the Epstein files. They've been combing through it. They've been posting a lot of the information of a lot of Wall Street people, a lot of business people, even people in Hollywood, legendary publicists. What was her name? Peggy something. She got mentioned in there. Barry Weiss's wife, yeah, that bull dagger. Her wife is all up in the Epstein files. They're all connected. Even one of the guys that she hired, the doctor, I forget his name, but she hired like some doctor that's got a that's on CBS. He's all in the Epstein files. He was Jeffrey Epstein doctor and Joe Rogan's doctor. So all of them are, so it's like it's all one big cesspool of rapists, abusers, child killers, all kinds of people that have been hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. It just shows how deep this rabbit hole goes. And that's what all this is. This is all a distraction because they know you say something racist, you go against people in the community, that's going to rile people up. That's going to rage bait. So end up taking the distraction. But it's like, we haven't forgotten, sir, about the Epstein files. So we got to keep an eye on the ball. We got to keep bringing it up. And this is, like I said before, he's never been one to take accountability for anything he's done. So I'm not surprised that this guy who's always pushed racist ideologies won't apologize. So why would y'all expect him to change who he is? He's at that point where he is who he is. He's always been who he is. He's not going to back down from it. So I'm not expecting his apology. And if he gives one, I wouldn't believe it. It would be sincere. Because when you have the blackest of blackest holes and you have no sincere bone in your body because you have borderline personality disorder, I'm not expecting you to have that side of that side of yourself to even be a thing. Look, this is the same man that started the Obama birther lies and whose family would deny black people from renting space in their apartment buildings. So, which I believe they sued Trump's father over something like for discrimination. He also took out a full-page ad in the New York Times to push for the Central Park 5 to be executed. Let's not forget about that. That was in the 80s. And also, before he was elected as the 47th president, he said the Haitians were eating cats and dogs. Y'all forgot about that? And the majority of his voters majority of his supporters voted for him anyway. Even the independents went and voted for him. So this man has shown time and time again that he's an evil, vile, soulless human being who's also a racist that shits himself during press conferences. So don't be surprised that this is when people show you who they are, as I've said many a times on this channel, quoting my girl, Maya Angelou, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? It was like, I wasn't surprised at all in regards to this whole thing about Trump being racist. You would think that, gone are the days when the people that were the leaders and the representation of America had some kind of class. But these are the most low-class, trailer park, gutter trash people that I've ever encountered in my life. You would think that people with money would show some kind of cool, but I guess that don't mean anything. Just because you got money doesn't necessarily mean that, as Countess Luann said, money don't buy you class. That's what she said. Elegance is earned. And they lack elegance of any kind. Him, and then JD Vance getting booed over there at the Olympics in Italy. Also, Israel got booed. I heard about that too. The people, people around the world, they're not playing with these hoes out here. So I want to definitely hear from y'all regarding this story. Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. We don't need any prayers. We're good over here. I think we used to pray for the left. I don't even know what that means. You sound dumb as hell. First of all, people of color cannot be racist. We could be prejudiced, but not racist. First of all, people who are black or outside of white people, and this is why Google is your friend. Also read a history book, sir, which you probably clearly failed at once, probably didn't even make it past 5th grade. When you want to sit up here and talk about racism, black people cannot sit and have control over a bigger hierarchy, meaning that we can't enslave white people. We can't basically deny you home ownership and all the other things. Read a history book. So you want to talk about why am I racist? Why is your president that you clearly voted for racist? Fuck out of here with this bullshit. Why am I racist? Why are you stupid? Answer that. Well, that's probably gonna be hard for you. You can't answer why you so damn dumb. I tell you, I got time. You know, I will stay. I have low tolerance for stupidity and stupid people. So, wait, hold on. I gotta go back up because I saw that. I saw that comment. I had to go in. That's just my baby daddy said. Many people think all introverts live like recluses in a basement. You know, right? Because it do kind of give that. It's like, no, I'm not just some recluse living in the basement like a little troll under the bridge. It's just like, yeah, I like when it's time for me to come out here and be extroverted and having the energy and being able to engage with people. Trust and believe, I can do it. But then when my battery has run low, it's like, yeah, I do like my alone time. I like being by myself. I know some people call like being lonely, but I was like, I'm not lonely. I have plenty of friends and people that I can count on that I can hang out with. And I guess maybe that's because I live in a metropolis like New York. But but yeah, we do like our alone time. Is that I hope the Apes video provides context as to why younger people are so anti-AI. People take advantage. Yeah, because and that's why I say I don't mind AI, but the fact that people tend to abuse it is the problem. A television blackout is happening. They are targeting minorities in media. Absolutely, that's another thing too. They're trying to push out getting rid of a lot of content. I mean, a lot of shows. That's why I was thinking. Someone in my comments made that about the whole thing of them canceling a lot of these daytime talk shows when you're getting rid of allegedly Screaming for Hudson, which we're going to talk about that. Sherri Shepherd getting canceled, and they even and one of my friends even included Kelly Clarkson, said, "Yeah, she black because of the voice," but they was like, "Yeah, they try to just cut out the voice of the people." But I'm like, but then I'm like, are they really saying anything on those shows though? Like from what I've seen on the shows like Sherri Shepherd and Kelly Clarkson and Jennifer Hudson, I don't feel like they provide anything interesting or entertaining with their show. I firmly believe that Trump was voted. And yeah, I definitely think that it was a default. The country's history of racism and sexism made them go to whatever palm-colored male was available. So here we are. Absolutely. I truly believe that too. Did you see the CEO of Microsoft release a statement asking for slop to no longer be used to refer to AI images, instead micro slop? That's funny. Oh look, and then your face, what is it? This portrayal is far more accurate. Wait, what are you saying? Because I'm about to cuss you out. I was like, well, what are you saying? The portrayal of with me posting about Trump is more accurate than the one Trump posts about the Obamas. You know, I'll be so ready to go in and let have. That's why I be having to just. I thought, Chris, relax, take a moment, take a breath, read the comments. Don't be so quick to go in, because sometimes I'll be having to do it. I'll be ready. I'll be on the defense immediately. I'm still confused by this. It's about pray for the left. I'm like, what we need prayers for? Is now the time. I've been said this. We definitely need a third party thing, because you know everybody want to scream out Jill Stein, Jill Stein, Jill Stein. Where Jill Stein been? I'm like, she's a better choice. That we don't. The two party system is broken. It's been broken, and they made it so obvious how corrupt they were when you started seeing APAC and the more things that were coming out about Palestine. And I feel like social media has definitely opened up people's eyes to the way the world really is. They're already in hell. I feel like they've created hell on earth. But yeah, we definitely need a third party. And the fact that the corporate centers, Democrats still aren't getting it. And now when I just told you about how they've got this big war chest over there with APAC trying to interfere yet again in our elections, it's like y'all still not getting it. But yeah, it is definitely time for a change. And now AOC out here exposing them because they tried her yet again. I'm like, girl, where you been? Stop trying to cut yourself to Schumer and Jeffries and stuff, and really come over here on the progressive side. And look, people still out here mad at Zoran, but Zoran already up in here cleaning up New York. He's gotten universal child care already on the ballot. Also, I just read an article that it said that we've had the lowest crime in I forget what year they said, but how long, but during in January, and January is the longest month of the year. It's like 5 weeks. So they said the lowest crime in New York, I think in like over a decade or something or another. And that could be, I mean, one, it could be due to it's been so goddamn cold in New York. People don't even want to commit any crime. It's been cold. Like right now, it is 15 degrees in New York. I have not left my house since Friday because it's been so damn cold. I already did my shopping. I already got all the stuff I need in my house. I'm like, I'm not going outside. So, I just wish that other countries, like in other countries, we had other parties that we could vote on instead of just a two-party system. But when money has infiltrated our politics and rich people have bought in to try to control our political figures, it makes it hard. So we just got to remember, as a people, we're the ones who control this stuff. These politicians work for us. We got to remember and bring it back to we're the ones who made the decisions. And I think New York was the catalyst of that, because while Cuomo and that asshole Eric Adams was trying to buy and use all kinds of stunts and shows to win New York again, Zoran came in, this democratic socialist, Muslim, came over because since y'all want to sit and put all those labels on him, came in. The people love what he was out there saying. He was genuinely a really good, nice, he was like a genuine nice guy, which is a breath of fresh air. And came in, said, this is what I'm running on, was very consistent in what he was running on, kept his eye on the prize, regardless of how many people try to flip the narrative, like those broads over there at The View. And he won New York. And I was like, I don't mind us being the guinea pig for the rest of the other 49 or 50 states, because it's 51 states, right? There are other states, if they want to wake up and follow what we do, our example, be my guest. I don't mind being the guinea pig. If New York got to be the one state that's progressive. But I'm here for the Green Party because I'm over, the Democrats and Republicans. Or as oh my God, Jesse Ventura used to call them the Democrips and the Republicans. I remember he recently said, he was like, I'm sorry that I had to use those gangster names for for what we call the Republicans and Democrats, but he was like, but that was always his thing. So I'm like, don't apologize. I mean, that's basically what they are. They're like two damn gangsters. Man, let's move on. Speaking of screaming for Hudson, let's get into her story. So apparently word on the street is, because we talked about it the other day, that Sherri Shepherd has been canceled, Kelly Clarkson was canceled, and how Lonnie Love went in and was like, oh, it was nice of them over at NBC to give Kelly Clarkson a courtesy to announce her cancellation of her show, that she's not going to be coming back because she's, the father of her children passed away from cancer, and she needs to be there full time for the kids. She can dabble and do other things. You can make money, like TV pays way more money anyway than the music. She could do a residency in Vegas. She could do, or when summertime comes and the kids is out of school, is when you could plan if you want to do like a 3-month tour, whatever the case is, or like I said, be on the same side, do a residency, or do The Voice. The Voice is like, I don't know what their shooting schedule is over there, but I'm sure it's easier to do something like The Voice because she is on the championship season. I just saw the commercial for that. So she could she could dabble if she need a little extra cointado, whatever the case is. She could jump over there and do The Voice or whatever the case is and make her a little money. So now, after all of that, according to reports, word on the street is, and that's Rob Shutter's Substack, because we did talk about screaming for Hudson allegedly being on the chopping block. They said she's gonna be next, and also Drew Barrymore might be next as well. I totally forgot Drew Barrymore was still in the air, but apparently they saying screaming for Hudson actually has been canceled, but they're currently fighting to keep it over on the air. So According to Rob Shutter's Naughty But Nice Substack, Screamer for Hudson show has been canceled, with Screamer for and singer staff now informed this is the last final season. No extensions, no retools, it's over. Saying Screamer for is heartbroken, one insider reveals she really believed in this show. Well, sis, I'm glad you believed in it and you had to create that little runway thing where everybody's dancing down the hallway. That shit irritates me. Not only is that annoying, but the fact that Screaming for after all these DMCs, you still haven't figured out how to interview people. Like, you're a horrible interviewer. I like you as a singer. I think you're a great, you've got a great talent in the, as a vocalist, but trying to show like you got a bit of a talk show personality. No, you was never it. And I just don't understand what it is about daytime that they decided to go in this direction. Like back in the day when I was growing up, like we had some really good iconic talk shows. But then, of course, there was a lot of situations that went down with that. Like in the days of Geraldo and Sally Jesse Raphael and Ricky Lake and Jenny Jones and Montel Williams and all those shows. That was like the peak talk show era. But then, of course, when that thing happened, where y'all were trying to and Oprah, can't forget her and Donahue, where y'all were really pushing the boundaries of talk. And then that incident happened with Jenny Jones, where the guy professed his love for his neighbor and ended up dead in a pow-powing. So, the talk show landscape changed then. And I always wanted to be a talk show host. That was like my dream, to be like a show similar to like Ricky Lake, where I was like talking with my generation and we had like a young people's talk show. There was even a point when I was in high school where my teacher, Copper Cunningham, was trying to help me develop a talk show, and I was going to interview her friend, gossip columnist Flo Anthony. And then we were going to do like a little segment, and we should have figured out how to do that and then try to sell it to a network. And then I could have been like the youngest talk show host on TV. That would have been great to have. But I actually like the fact that I was able, like, YouTube provides that landscape where we can create our own little landscape, where it's like I produce it, I put the show together, I come up with the show notes, I come up with the topics, I give my opinion, and call it a day. And basically, YouTube provides us the space, I provide the production, and all the other stuff that goes along with it. So one of these days, I'll be looking forward to where I could bring some people on board and I could just not have to stress myself out and spend 4 to 5 hours putting a show together to give y'all a full show, that I can actually have somebody come in and help me with all that. But that's down the road. Let's focus on this. So it's just like the landscape has changed so much over there on TV. It's not giving what it used to give. And they basically said that behind the scenes, emotions are raw. Staffers are said to be devastated. And Hudson, who poured her heart into building a warm, joyful brand, is struggling with the abrupt end, saying this wasn't her choice. She wanted to keep going. And she's not alone. They said the daytime purge continues with Sherri, hosted by Sherri Shepherd, also officially ending its run in fall 2026 after 4 seasons. Meanwhile, the Kelly Clarkson show has quietly been canceled as well, sources confirmed. The economics just don't work anymore, a network insider explains. Daytime talk is collapsing fast. What's left standing? A few chairs and a lot of broken hearts. Now, Jennifer's exit is especially painful for fans who embrace her authenticity and warmth. She gave it everything, a source says. This is why it hurts so much. Now, one era is ending, another already gone. And then there was an update where they said that sources close to the show are fighting back, but they're drawing a careful line. Now, insiders insist it is inaccurate to say the Screamer for Hudson show has been canceled, stressing the series is still in production. That said, they cannot say the show is coming back and no renewal has been confirmed. Because I would think around this time, isn't this when they start announcing whether or not shows are going to be renewed or shows are going to be canceled and that sort of thing? Because we're already in like mid-season. Like this is like January, February. That's like the mid-season with a lot of the shows, because seasons usually end in May. So we're already at that 6-month period. So now there's a demo rating show year-over-year growth, and the show is a social media powerhouse, but sources privately admit that solid demos and strong digital performance are not enough to secure a return in today's unforgiving daytime TV climate. The pushback is real, the verdict is not. Well, I'm confused because I want to know, what does it take for a show to survive in today's climate? Like I always thought like, okay, now if the ratings aren't doing what needs to be done, then okay, it's got to go. But what does it take? Because if her show continues to rise in the ratings every year, and she's doing well on social media, then why would you cancel the show? Like I'm just confused. As like, what is it exactly? And because I don't even understand network television anymore. I don't know what they want. I don't think they even know what they want, because you're trying to play it safe and keep everything on Disney-fied, so that way you could appease your sponsors, or the people that that sponsor a lot of these shows and the ad people and all this other stuff. You're trying to please them, but I don't know. I just like, what is exactly that y'all looking for? And if y'all clearing house and get rid of all these talk shows, what do you plan on replacing them with? Are you trying to do more game shows? Because I think, like, what would be the next avenue that we could see someone like, well, I don't know, Jennifer Hudson, I guess, go back to music. But I was wondering that with Sherri, which I'll save that when we get to the next Sherri topic, which is going to be after this one. So then I can add that within that one. But I'll definitely be keeping my eye on this story as it develops. So yeah, so far they're saying that the rumors are stating that Screaming for Hudson show has been canceled, but they're saying it hasn't been canceled. So I guess we'll just put this on. It's on thin ice. It's on the chopping block. It hasn't been confirmed, but I'm sure like it's only a matter of time we'll find out the fate of this show. But and when we find out the fate of the show, we'll come back and talk. So for those of you who do love the Screaming for Hudson show, you can breathe a sigh of relief for now. Keep one foot in, one foot out of the water. But when more stories develop on this, I'll definitely keep you guys abreast of it when it is officially confirmed that Jennifer Hudson's show will be coming to an end. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. I'm sorry, but these talk shows don't have the zest that Wendy has. I agree. And I think that's probably why a lot of people gravitate towards, YouTube and coming over to hearing what people like myself has to say, and so many others that I mentioned, like myself and Armand Wiggins and Funky Dineva and Hollywood Unlocked and Perez Hilton and all the other people out here who are doing entertainment talk shows. What they go and want to hear what our opinions are, because we're giving unfiltered opinions. Whereas I feel like a lot of these celebrity based talk shows are more or less about, oh, we got to spread positive, or we can't be negative because we don't want to piss off these celebrities and they're not going to want to come on our show. Because it's like, I'm a party of one. When you are running a show like Jennifer Hudson or Sherri Shepherd, it's, yes, your name is on the marquee, but you've got hundreds of people that are in your employ. So you got to feed a bunch of mouths. It's not just your mouth. So I think that makes it harder for people to come out and just give real authenticity, especially when you're talking about things that got to do with hot topics and pop culture and that sort of thing. Oh yeah, and then and all the others is out there doing it. Okay, you said, speaking of which, I saw her again the other night at our building. She looks pretty good and is coming together. Oh, you talking about Wendy? Oh yeah, because you said you and Wendy live in the same building. Do you think The View is canceled? Funny enough, I did hear this, and I totally forgot to bring this up. I don't think The View is going to get canceled, although I did hear that they said they're going to have this is dumb per usual. Because then I'm hearing this story that the FCC is going to be looking into The View because they had James Tallarico on their show the other day. I'm like, what? So they can't interview a potential politician who's trying to win a seat over in Texas against Jasmine Crockett? So why is the FCC looking into that? I didn't watch the interview. I did watch the beginning because I wanted to watch the hot topics when they were talking about Bad Bunny and the Grammys and all that stuff. So I only watched it for that part. But when James Tallarico, I'm like, I'm not voting in Texas. I could give a good goddamn what happens down there. Good luck to y'all that live down there. But I'm just like, I just don't care what James Tallarico got to say. Look, quiet as it's kept when Jasmine Crockett pops up on The View. I don't even care what she got to say. I like the little sound bites and the clips and stuff that she posts online, but when she's on The View, I could care less when they be interviewing these politicians, because I already know what bias lens they come from when they ask certain questions that they ask. So if I want to hear real political stuff or when they do the political view, I don't really watch them for that. But I don't think they're going to get canceled. That's always been kind of the rumor, though. How much longer it took. Remember one time I saw her show when I was in the laundromat, and I'm like, this show is stupid. That's when she had Ross. I mean, I don't know if she still has Ross Matthews on there, but that's when she had Ross. I'm like, this show is not good. But the biggest controversy y'all be having with her that she likes to be a little too close and touch people. Look, I just hope that breath is fresh. If you're gonna be that close. Unlike I've been seeing memes that they've been putting out there about Billy Porter. We went, fuck. When he did all of that mess, I was like, y'all are shady. Because it definitely gets that when you see that bottom row and then you got him trying to blow all that breath. I was like, It's always been kind of little shady comments people made online. I don't know if it's accurate because I ain't never been in that in close proximity to smell it. Although I have encountered Billy Porter quite a few times, but I've never encountered a point where it's like, okay, I don't know. I hope that brother's fresh. You're gonna be doing all of that to me on a red carpet. If it's an economic decision, what are they going to replace these talk shows with? For soaps, we're replacing. I know, because it's like y'all barely have talk shows as it is. I mean, y'all got Beyond the Gates, but is Beyond the Gates on network TV or is that specifically on Paramount Plus? Also, y'all only got like 4 soaps left. You got General Hospital. What is it? The Bold and the Beautiful, The Young and the Restless. Days of Our Lives, I believe, is on. Isn't that on Peacock? That's not. I don't even think that's on network television anymore either. So, y'all just getting rid of. What are y'all gonna replace everything with? Because y'all getting rid of. I would not be surprised about the white wing propaganda. And especially what CBS is turning basically itself into Jeffrey Epstein TV. Especially with a lot of people from the Epstein files be getting jobs over there. This is so really sad when you think about it. All celebrity promotion is done via social media now, which makes talk shows extinct, joining magazines, radio, and physical media as the museum of extinction. I'm glad I just came from an era where all of that was valuable or of any kind of, validation. But I always thought that, like, with a lot of the shows, they were on social media. Like, one of the things I will say about this, and I didn't like, they put Kelly Clarkson and Jennifer Hudson, but they would show clips of their show on social media. At least Sherri was smart, but then Wendy Williams did it first. And The View is smart now. The View see, now my damn Siri went off and started pulling up Wendy Williams. Go away. And tried it again. Siri done picked up my voice and started pulling up stuff about Wendy Williams. So I had to whisper the name because this bitch is nosy. So what was we talking about again? Because now this witch done rudely interrupted my flow. So the celebrity situation, yeah. The View and Wendy Williams and Sherri would post their full episodes on YouTube. So if you can't watch it on network television, whatever streaming service you may or may not have, you can watch full episodes of these shows on YouTube. So they were smarter. I think even Tamron Hall finally came around to, well, she still do clips, but she finally came around to post on her show on Hulu. You can watch full episodes on there. And remember, once upon a time, she was also taking. She's kind of diluted her brand too, because now she puts mess on her show too. Because before she was like, "I'm the serious journalist," and I do. But I guess in order to stay afloat, you got to do those fluff pieces too. But Armand Wiggins, you mean Trashy K, and Perez, and I used to call him Perezite Hilton, like Parasite. Don't do interviews, and when they do, it isn't taken as anything serious or noteworthy. Yeah, I mean, Armand Wiggins has done interviews, but he interviews people like Milagro. I'm like, who cares? And Tasha K, she'll try to find some of the most bottom of the barrel people who spew homophobia and transphobia, whatever the case is, the interviewer, or people who claim that they saw Will Smith having relations with certain genders, male, female, whatever, and they come up on there and spilling tea. And she wonder why she keep getting lawsuits thrown at her. And yeah, Perez doesn't really do interviews. He does gossip, but he doesn't do interviews. But yeah, but here's the thing. I always feel like that's another reason why I don't do interviews, because I just feel like interviews, I don't think it helps me in any way. I mean, shout out to those of y'all that go out there and do the interviews, but I just don't feel like, I just don't see the value in doing them. I feel like if I'm gonna do interviews, it would probably be like drag queens or whatever, because I find them to be way more entertaining than celebrities or whatever. All right, y'all. So now let's get back into the show. And since we was talking about Sherri Shepherd, we have more Sherri Shepherd news, because apparently they saying that Debmar-Mercury never really supported Sherri Shepherd back when she was doing her show. So as y'all probably heard already, on February 2nd, it was announced that the Sherri Shepherd show will not be renewed for, I believe, a 5th season. So this is going to be their final season. They said episodes will resume in the fall, which I find weird, because I always feel like the fall is like the season when the season starts. So yes, unfortunately, Sherri's show has come to an end. For those of y'all that like the show, shout out to y'all. But yeah, so but they're saying that she was never fully supported by her own the production company. So Sherri stepped in, as y'all know, to replace Wendy Williams. How you doing? Amid Williams' chaotic exit from television, but insiders claim that the production company never fully saw it for Shepherd, saying they never fully supported her. One source alleged to Page Six. Now, Shepherd's first season premiered in 2022, and the former The View co-host landed a steady stream of A-list celebrities, including Oprah and Michael B. Jordan. It also suffered budget cuts and often had to stretch its resources, according to insiders. Now, in 2024, multiple sources told Page Six staffers complained of issues with petty cash and alleged the show owed back rent on its Chelsea studio. Yeah, because here's the thing. Sherri's show actually films right around the corner from my gym in Chelsea. So, and then Rachel Ray used to film next door too, but they haven't, I think that spot's been vacant since Rachel Ray left. Now that Sherri's leaving, I hope they can find something else to put up in there, but unless this is going to be a vacant lot. They said we learned back then that a leftover Wendy production manager was under investigation for allegedly mishandling the show's budget. He subsequently died of what appeared to be, he unalived himself, basically, while they were investigating him. So now on Monday, Debmar co-presidents Ira Bernstein and Mark Marcus officially announced the show would be ending after 4 seasons, saying, quote, "The decision is driven by the evolving daytime television landscape and does not reflect on the strength of the show. Its production, which has found strong creative momentum this season, or the incredibly talented Sherri Shepherd." But this is weird, and I still agree with Lonnie Love, but it's like y'all could have let the Sherri go out there and just announce her own thing. Why is the production company taking the reins on this? And I just need more specifics regarding what is the evolving daytime television landscape? I mean, is it the fact that the evolving television landscape means that more people are getting their information on social media and a lot faster and are getting it from authentic pundits such as myself versus a lot of these show ponies that y'all have on network television that have to cut themselves and toe the line based off of, these corporate people that run their companies that give them the ad space and all this other stuff to do their show. So Sherri has to abide by Morton, Debmar-Mercury and whatever they got going over there, and can't really toe the line. Otherwise, she would be out of a job, which she is anyway. But those of us over here, it's literally like, I'm trying to think of the word. It's the wild wild west, I guess we could say, where it's just like a lot of us are out here like a squirrel trying to get a nut, fighting for airtime, screen time, viewership, all these other things based off of us being our authentic selves. Virality, I guess we could say. Now, staffers were left shocked and devastated by the news, particularly since Sherri appeared to be on a winning streak with blockbuster bookings like Michelle Obama and 50 Cent. We're told the entire staff eagerly worked their butts off for Sherri because she fostered the have a good time mood of the show's theme song, saying every guest left happy. Well, that's great that you can get A-list celebrities, but the reality goes to show that one of the things I think, if we're going to sit and talk about her replacing Wendy Williams, I think why people resonated with Wendy because Wendy Williams wasn't getting Michelle Obama and all these A-list celebrities on her show. But what Wendy Williams was doing was they made Hot Topics longer. She was doing things with the audience. So her being her authentic self, people watched the Wendy Williams show for Wendy because her personality basically brought in the viewership. It wasn't about, oh, you getting to sit down with Ryan Coogler and Michael Bakari Jordan so they could discuss Sinners, which they've done on 50 other damn TV shows in 50 other ways. Like the only way you can get me to watch an interview about some of these actors, I've said before, you got to make it interesting. And I feel like maybe one of the shows that allows that will be something like Hot Ones. Like you got celebrities sitting there eating hot wings and answering questions. That to me is way more entertaining than the same old, let me sit on the couch and I got 5 minutes to sell this movie. Because I don't feel like we're getting to know the celebrity in these quick little interviews. So if they can find ways of like, you got to find real interesting personalities that I think maybe you can, the new version of the talk show might have to be find an interesting personality like myself, and then we incorporate the audience to be a part of the whole situation. We doing fun things with them or whatever the case is. Maybe that's going to be the future. Or maybe just the whole talk show live studio audience thing just isn't isn't the thing that people particularly care for anymore. I don't know. It's just I just feel like, everything that has a beginning has an end. The way things are evolving in the whole talk show landscape, it's a lot of it is changing. Now I was sitting there wondering, like, now what could Sherri possibly do? Because she has spoken out. She said, you may have noticed yesterday and today I was struggling because I wasn't feeling up to speed. Well, it turns out I have COVID. As soon as I feel better and return to the show, I will address all the news that has come out. Until then, I'm truly grateful that Sherri has made such an impact on you. See you soon. So with all this ending, I'm like, what could she do? I said she can go back to acting. I mean, she's well known of doing like sitcoms and things like that. Because what was she on? King of Queens, Everybody Loves Raymond. She was on one of them damn shows. And she also did House of Pain. She did the Nick Cannon show. She's done you said, well, sorry, Debmar-Mercury's been behind House of Pain, Tyler Perry's House of Pain, the Nick Cannon show, and a bunch of other things. Because remember, at one point, Nick Cannon was trying to get a daytime talk show, but that show was terrible. So that didn't work out. But I feel like if Sherri wants to come back and find a way to revive her career, she can go back into the sitcom game. But I feel like the old guard regarding sitcoms, that's kind of died off too. Like sitcoms don't hold the weight that it once did, but they would really push the boundaries of comedy and that sort of thing. But maybe she needs to kind of go the Steve Harvey route and do a game show. Like maybe that should be the next thing that she should do. Because I feel like at this point, with y'all cancel all these daytime talk shows, what's going to happen is it's going to just be a no man's land of game shows and court shows and the 3 soap operas they have. So it's dry out here in these daytime TV streets. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Sherri Shepherd show being canceled? Actually, you know what I was thinking about? Let's move on to this topic. Because I was like, it kind of fits in with the thing and it kind of combines. Because apparently, Nutmeg McCain had decided to jump on a line and throw a little shade at a lot of these daytime talk shows, pretty much calling them boring. And as one of my former coworkers, Christina, would say, nobody asked you, Patrice. So she would always say it about whenever people would assert themselves and things that ain't got nothing to do with them. So yeah, so Nutmeg McCain decided to get on social media and give an opinion nobody asked for in regards of the daytime talk show landscape. So yeah, Nutmeg, who was 41, claimed that canceled shows weren't interesting enough to remain on air. She said the reason all these daytime talk shows are being canceled is because they are sublimely boring and all the hosts want to be loved. And remember, she was on, remember she hosted The View and a show called Outnumbered. And also she had her own show on Pivot at one point. And here was the thing. Before Nutmeg decided to show her entire ass on The View, I actually was a fan of hers. I liked her talk show when her little political show that she used to have on the now defunct Pivot Network. And because I thought she was kind of coming across as this Republican who was not like her father and George W. Bush, that she was more of a progressive. Then she started showing her entire ass on The View, and I'm like, okay, so this bitch was a fraud. So I wasn't that performance that she was putting on as the progressive that I liked about her wasn't really what she was giving when she was on The View. So, McCain said Wendy Williams, who hosted the Wendy Williams show, which aired from 2011 to 2022, as well as appearing on The View, was a much more interesting option in the past because of her willingness to be outspoken. She said Wendy Williams was the GOAT because she said the quiet things we were all thinking out loud. She was messy, raw, real, and wildly entertaining. While McCain did not name check a specific show or host in her post, Kelly Clarkson and Sherri Shepherd both announced this week that their respective talk shows, y'all know, is not coming back. Now, I will say this. While some of y'all may throw y'all little tomatoes at Nutmeg, and believe me, I'm the one that's going to have the basket full. I will say this. Right message, wrong messenger. I do agree with her. I do feel like the daytime landscape is boring. Y'all want yes people. Y'all want everybody that's going to be everything to everybody. And y'all should already know this when it comes to politics, when it comes to anything in entertainment, there's going to be people that like what you're about. And there's going to be a lot of people that don't like what you're about. So you have to pick a side and you got to stick with it. And I feel like maybe that's what it is, that Nutmeg may be correct in all of this. I hate to say it, but she might be correct. Whereas like, I do feel like we're in an era of when we talk about authenticity. We talk about it with musicians. The new era of musical acts, people want authenticity from the music. Which is why if you're not bringing a sense of your genuine self and being authentic, people are not going to listen to you or stream your music or support you. Same thing with, I think, talk show hosts. Like, you have to pick people that are going to be like Wendy Williams in the sense of they are authentically themselves, that they're not afraid to say the quiet part out loud. Why do you think I always get so many comments when people's like, and like when I was on TikTok, because I'm not on there no more, so any other places that I would have my shows, they were like, you're a breath of fresh air. You kind of remind me of Wendy. I get the Wendy Williams comparisons all the time. And number one, because she is a mentor in my head. And number two is that I come as authentically as myself, and I'm going to say what other people are thinking. And that's always kind of been my gift. I've always been the one that will say, I was like, oh my God, I totally was thinking that. You had the balls. I said, look, this mouth is what it is. That's why I call this show Chris Avalon Unfiltered. You get an unfiltered opinion on celebrity news, gossip, and hot topics. Whatever is the main hot topic or whatever's going on, I'm going to give you my unfiltered opinion. Respectfully. For the most part. So I agree with her in all of this when she was just saying, like, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying you got to be Wendy Williams, but you got to try to copy her mannerisms and all the things she does. But the fact that, yeah, she showed up as authentically herself. She was, what did she say? She said the quiet things we were all thinking out loud. She was messy, raw, real, and wildly entertaining. And that's what people want. When you show up as you being messy and you're going to be raw and you're going to be yourself and you're entertaining, people will continue to show up because they want that. People say they don't want people to keep it real, whatever the case is, but they genuinely like when you show up as yourself. So, because I was going to say, did they say anything else to add up on them? No, they're basically just talking about everybody who put out their little statements regarding why they're not returning for the show. So yeah, so I was like, that was a little short and sweet thing. I could have just added to that. So yeah, I agree with Nutmeg. Any other time I'd be side-eyeing her what she had to say, but she was 1,000% correct in the fact that maybe the reason why a lot of the daytime landscape is boring. I don't particularly care for any of these shows. I never got into Sherri Shepherd because she tries to post this. I'm not saying being positive is a negative thing, but it was just, her show was boring. Kelly Clarkson, I never found entertaining. And don't even get me started on Screaming Fun. So maybe the future of daytime talk needs to be, you need to find more people that are going to be raw, messy, real, and authentically themselves. And it should be the person hosting the event. It's not just my name on the marquee and I'm just entertaining and tap dancing for y'all, that you generally want a real, raw, real personality out there who give people a reason to want to tune in and watch their show. And also, learn the social media engagement, because if people aren't watching regular TV, people are getting their information, everything off social media. So the social media part definitely has to play a heavy role. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? You agree with Nutmeg and what she had to say? And all the other stuff we talked about prior, like the whole thing about Debmar-Mercury not fully supporting Sherri Shepherd's show, which I think is kind of shady that y'all pretty much, in a way, I feel like y'all used Sherri because y'all wanted to fill a slot because Wendy Williams wasn't showing up to work because she was going through all her situations. So y'all just like, oh, well, Sherri's resonating with the audience. She'll do. We'll just, have her up in there filling and keeping the engine running. She's like the little hamster running on the wheel and keeping us, employed. And now the networks is like, okay, we good. We don't want the show no more, regardless of whatever political or whatever reason it is for that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Ooh, shout. It's like, Lenny said, or they are going the Jerry Springer brand of talk shows. Perhaps that is cheaper for all the rumored canceled shows are celebrity focused, which may be more expensive. Yeah, because it's like you gotta fly all these celebrities in. There's a lot that goes when you gotta have all these celebrity guests on your show. I don't know, but is this are there people out there still here for that whole Jerry Springer type of talk? I mean, I know Karamo is doing what he's doing, but he's more Maury Povich than Jerry Springer. But is there an audience for that anymore? I feel like that ship has sailed. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't know if there's that audience that I grew up on where we live for the Jerry Springer, Jenny Jones, Geraldo type of talk, Sally Jesse Raphael type of talk shows. Those shows don't. I don't know if there's an audience for that. She is right. Wendy is entertaining, raw, and authentic, and she even says she's for the people and don't care. Exactly, and that's kind of like how my approach. I always felt like Wendy was that. I feel like when she said that in an interview back in the day, where she was like, "I don't care about how the celebrities feel. Um, I'm the people's host." And as long as the people ride hard for me, I'll ride hard for y'all. And it's just like, okay, it's no hard feelings. If y'all wasn't out here creating a mess, like I had somebody in my comments have the unlitigated goal to say, oh, how dare you up here trying to make money off of these people's pain or whatever. I said, first of all, you get off your high fucking horse, number one. And number two, if these celebrities wasn't out here doing mess, then we wouldn't be talking about it. That's like when I find it funny when these barbs have been out here, whenever people talk about Nicki Minaj or whatever, they'll say, oh, but she living rent free in y'all mind and she do this and y'all always stay talking about her. I'm like, she wants are y'all slow? Because she wants the attention. She does this for the attention. So when we talking about it because she's a public figure, then y'all get mad that we're talking about the very thing that she wants people to talk about because it keeps her in the news. Y'all really don't understand how media works. Y'all don't understand how this whole thing works. But y'all feel like by you saying this dumb narrative, and a lot of y'all love to repeat that shit like a parrot, y'all feel like that y'all windmilling hard for her. That lady don't know you. But they be out here windmilling hard with that tired ass excuse. And that's kind of how I decided to mold my thing. And that was ever since that gave me permission to be like, oh, I can freely talk. Because when she was just like, yeah, like I'm for the people. And once you learn that, yeah, when you come out here and you talking about this celebrity news or whatever's going on, and you want to give your unfiltered opinion, it frees you up from, oh, I don't want to offend this person because then they gonna get mad or whatever. It's like, look, if you wasn't out here doing mess, then I wouldn't be talking about you. And as you said earlier, she engaged and talks to her audience. And that's why I said that. And that was, I think, what made the show work is the fact that they did more things where she could, if celebrities don't want to come on, I could talk to some low rent reality star or whatever, but people don't tune in for the interviews. People tune in for Wendy Williams for the hot topics. And I'm like, we could come up with cool, creative stuff to engage with the audience. We could be like that type. Like if they could find a way, because I feel like what's really starting to work, and I don't know if they've noticed this, like when you see like people like T.S. Madison with Fag Talk, where they're going around traveling to different places and they're doing their show in front of a live audience. That I feel like is the new talk show. I think even Kempire's been doing like stuff at the City Winery, and even recently, I think D.L. Hughley and Don Lemon have put together something where they go and do shows at different places. Me, I would love to get to a point where I would love to do that. And I don't know, I was like, do I get a co-host? And if I did, it probably had to be a drag queen because nobody's doing that. So, I wouldn't mind doing events where it's like, okay, the fans can come and sit in the audience, and I do a city winery type thing. And it's like, if that's the new era of the way they do the talk show, that needs to be what needs to happen. The problem is, network TVs are so stuck in the old way of doing stuff, they're not willing to adapt. So I'm like, okay, but then y'all can continue to see y'all lose money and burn money and losing the ratings, while the rest of us over here in the YouTube space are thriving and building our audience. She feels like your bestie, and the show feels like kitchen table talk with cameras. Yeah, that's how I try to approach my show. Well, that's the way I've decided to approach my. It was like, yeah, it's like us all having like a little conversation, y'all engaging it. And I feel like what my hook is, because everybody else don't do this. I read y'all comments and we interact. Other shows ain't doing that. I find it hilarious how the same people who drag Whitney because she reports on their fave now want to. I know, right? It's so damn phony. And it's because people don't realize a good thing until it's gone. Same thing like I said before when we were talking about Donald Trump and that whole topic, how there's a poll that just went out where people talking about they miss Joe Biden. I said, oh, now you miss him. Because there's so much chaos going on in the past year and 2 months. Now y'all miss him. I said, I couldn't stand his stance. Like, he was horrible with the foreign policy. But other than that, I'd rather a politician. Like, I'm not trying to have a beer and be friends with a politician. That's not what we paid them for. That's not why they work for us. Y'all seem to forget that too. That's not why I align myself or get involved with like politics, whatever the case is. There's nothing entertaining about politics. Politics is not supposed to be like the WWE or stand-up comedy, which is what that dumbass meathead Joe Rogan was like, oh, I like when he was basically just licking the crap off of Trump's diaper when he sat across him. And he's sitting there talking about, oh, I just love how you was going at Joe Biden and coming out with those one-liners in the comedy. I was like, that's not what politics is. Y'all need to debate and talk the issues. It's not about you throwing insults and doing jokes or whatever. If that's what we wanted, then we go see a stand-up special. That's not what politics is. Politics is not supposed to be something that is treated like the UFC or the WWE. That's not what that is. But that's what they're turning into, a damn circus. But anyway, let's get back into the show. And let's talk about Andy Cohen. So apparently, I don't know if y'all heard this news by now, but the OG ladies from the Real Housewives of New York City have found themselves a new gig. They've decided to leave Bravo for the E! Network, and they're about to do a show in Palm Beach, Florida. I believe because a lot of the women don't live here anymore, probably because they got tired of paying them high-ass taxes. So they moved on, and Andy Cohen is weighing in on the fact that I believe that E! News, or I should say the E! Network, has quietly started to remodel itself. So I know a lot of people that used to work at Bravo have now gone over to E! And they're trying to, I guess, rebrand the channel. So the Bravo powerhouse, who's 57, spoke out on Sirius XM Andy Cohen Live on Thursday, February 5th, for the first time since news broke that Luann de Lesseps, Jill Zarin, Ramona Singer, Kelly Ben-Simone, and Sonia Morgan, who were all original cast members on Roni's early seasons, are returning to reality TV on another network. He said, I'm so excited for them. I texted the ladies yesterday. I think it's going to be a great show. I could never root against these women. I absolutely love them. I love them together. So does America. I'm going to speak for America. Well, please don't. He said, I think it's going to be great, and I can't wait to watch, and I'm happy for them. The new show, with the working title The Golden Life, is set to begin filming in the spring and will follow the iconic friend group as they trade in the Big Apple for Palm Beach, Florida, per the official press release. saying, I believe Jill, Sonia, and Ramona live in Florida, so that's where they really are. So I think it'll be great if you watch the Ultimate Girls Trip that they all did. It was really fun. Now, in 2023, Ben Simone, De Lesseps, Morgan and Singer joined Dorinda Medley and Kristen Tackman for the Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, Roni Legacy, which saw the women travel to St. Bart's as a homage to the iconic cast trip in Roni's fifth season. Saying that felt like a kind of series finale in a weird way. The Watch What Happens host added. They kind of wrapped it all up, and now they're embarking on a new era, new lives. So I wish them well, and I'm happy for the fans who want to see this, and I'm happy for them. Yeah, because I was going to say, I was definitely disappointed when they decided to get rid of all the Roni girls and then revamp it with a new cast, which I never watched the show, but I know a lot of people didn't really particularly care for the new girls that were brought in. I don't feel like they had that same moxie that the original Roni cast had. Like, I'm not saying you need to try to mold these girls after the originals, but there's nobody like a Luann. There's nobody like a Sonia Morgan. There's no one like, trust to believe, there's nobody like Ramona Singer and all these other girls. I know the sad part is, because we've been hearing stories from the gossip blogs where they were talking about that. I mean, it would be nice in a way, I guess, if we could get Bethany on the show. But the problem is, and I think Bethany does have a house in Palm Beach, but the problem with Bethany is the rumor is nobody likes messing around with her anymore because of the reality reckoning and so many other things that she was doing behind the scenes that she doesn't have. She's not in good standing with a lot of these producers or whatever the case is. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but it probably would have been good to see Bethany on the show. But what else is he going to say? Where he's, oh, I'm genuinely happy for them. I'm so happy that they're back on TV and they're able to do, they're going to another network. Because my thing is, if you're not going to use me or bring me back over on Bravo, then I should be able to go somewhere else and do whatever shows that they're going to be doing. Like, I should be able to just, I can't work in reality TV no more because I'm under contract with Bravo and I can't work at any other network. I don't like when they do all that exclusive stuff. So it'll be interesting to see them on this show. But more detail they mentioned about this whole thing. They said that the Golden Life is going to be it's going to be 10 episodes. And they said that the show, we could expect sun soaps filled with a sliver of shade. Bound by decades of shared history, full hours of friendship, this fan favorite group of New Yorkers are starting fresh together in the Sunshine State. In this new golden era of life, the longtime friends are thriving in and around Palm Beach with fabulous second homes and a bustling local scene. Now, with their signature humor and nonstop hijinks, the series will follow the group as they navigate dating, family, and career milestones through those skies of Brighton, Florida. Unresolved drama looms as they reconnect after years of highs and lows. So, as someone who's a big fan of the OG Legacy cast of Real Housewives of New York, I'll definitely check this out. Especially since it seemed like all that's been forgiven about Ramona, but I guess all time heals all wounds. Sonya probably could use the money because she lost that iconic house that she was living in at one point, and she went down to Florida. I guess because they don't pay taxes and nothing down there is easily affordable. But it'll be interesting to see how this whole show works out, and I'll definitely be checking it out when it premieres. Now, if E is trying to develop itself as the new Bravo, I guess, because aren't they all under NBC Universal, that whole umbrella? NBC Universal, quiet as it's kept, y'all could use a rebrand because I don't know what's going on with y'all. I heard that Peacock is not doing very well financially, and y'all definitely need a rebrand because I don't even know what that streaming service is about. The only thing that they have on Peacock that's watchable is The Traitors. That's the only thing I watch on there. And yeah, you have access to Bravo, but like I told y'all, I have not been watching any of the Housewives shows. I still haven't even watched this new season of Beverly Hills. So, and eventually I'm gonna get around to it, but I've been so caught up in The Traitors, and I know they got Taylor Sheridan over there working now, where he's gonna be developing programs for the network. So yeah, Peacock, y'all definitely need a new rejuvification. Like, what are y'all about? What are you promoting? What type of shows y'all have coming to this network that's going to get people engaged? Because y'all not on the same radar as a Netflix, an Apple TV Plus, a a Hulu, a Disney Plus, all these other streaming services, which according to Jimmy Iovine is about to be obsolete. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding Andy Cohen and weighing in on this new show, Golden Life, that's going to feature some of the original Real Housewives of New York City women? So whatever your thoughts are, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, y'all. So we are finally down to our final 4 topics. So before we get to our final 4 topics, if you could please do me a solid if you haven't already. Hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Also, be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Also, we do have memberships. If you want to sign up for that, you could definitely do so. But if you don't want to do the membership, the like and the subscribe and all the other stuff definitely helps with the algorithm and all that good stuff. It is free. And as my mama once said many a times, if it's free, it's for me. Please and thank you. So without further ado, let's get into our next topic. And let's give a huge congratulations to Halle Berry, who was finally engaged to Van Hunt after almost 6 years of dating. So yeah, she's finally getting her happily ever after. I'm really rooting for her because, you know, Halle doesn't have the best track record when it comes to her relationships. But finally, Savannah got herself a good man because she's engaged, and she announced it on Jimmy Fallon's boring-ass show. So Halle Berry is planning to walk down the aisle for the 4th time. The Oscar winner revealed that she and boyfriend Van Hunt are officially engaged. Now, Berry shared the news with host Jimmy Fallon on Thursday's episode of The Tonight Show, and she was promoting her new movie that she has with Chris Hemsworth. So that's, you know, when she made the announcement. And then he said, after a recent interview with The Cut garnered headlines that the Monsters Ball actress turned down a proposal from Hunt last year. She said, there's some confusion. It's going around that my guy, Van Hunt, I've been dating him now for almost 6 years. Well, there's some confusion that he asked to marry me, and I said no. I did not say no. Now, Berry and Hunt have been together since they met during the COVID pandemic lockdown in 2020 after being set up by Hunt's brother. They spoke over the phone for 4 months before meeting in real life on a date, and the rest is history. As such, Berry told Fallon that, of course, I said yes, I would marry him, adding that the pair just don't have a set date for their nuptials. Now, amid congratulations from Jimmy, the action star teased, he did put a little ring on it, showing off the not so little chunky gold engagement ring featuring black designs and a diamond on top, which you can see the picture that, yeah, she is big and engaged. I mean, and congratulations to her. I really hope that it works out for her because, like I said, Halle has not had the best track record when it comes to men, especially with the Gabriel Aubrey and that drama she had to endure with him. Then she was married to Olivier Martinez. And then, of course, she's still having issues with him and their 12-year-old son, Maceo, that whole custody situation. We haven't heard much about it, but I know it was just like an ugly little situation with them. And then let's also not forget David Justice, who she was married to at one point, and the drama that ensued from that. Then allegedly Wesley Snipes causing her to lose partial hearing when she was in a relationship with him, allegedly. And so yeah, she hasn't had the best track record when it comes to relationships, but it seems like this one's the real deal because we've never heard anything remotely negative regarding Van Hunt and her or whatever. And so I don't want to hear nothing else because y'all be so quick to run up out here talking about black people always getting in relationships with the other race and we can't never see real black. Here it is. Y'all got some black love. Y'all can shut the fuck up finally and just wallow in the fact that we got two black people who are a couple getting together. They happy. They're engaged. We'll see if hopefully they walk down the aisle. I believe they will. Or maybe it's better off that y'all kind of have like a Goldie Hawn, Kurt Russell type situation. Because, you know, a lot of times when you've been in a relationship with somebody for a long time and it's great, the minute y'all get married, it's like the dynamic changes all of a sudden. When it shouldn't, because when you're married, it's just a piece of paper. Like, it just makes it official that y'all are like joined in holy matrimony. But getting married, I mean, but I think that sometimes maybe it's just in the mind or the energy or whatever the case is that causes y'all to change it up or feel different or, you know, y'all put too much emphasis on the married part when it's just like, no, we just still a couple. It's just that we just made it official with the marriage license. So congratulations, Halle. I'm looking forward to seeing this new movie you have coming out with Chris Hemsworth. I'm gonna see if I can try to get to the theater this week and see it. If not, I will try to find some time to go and see this film. But anyway, I say this all to say, what do you guys think of this story? Yes, congratulations, Halle. I'm happy that you finally are at a point in your life where, you're just full circle happy and found somebody who is truly your equal relationship wise. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. Now, speaking of equals and relationships, let's talk about an alleged one going on between two actors on heated rivalry. So, yeah, let's get into some homosexual news. And let's talk about Connor Storrie and François Arnaud, who apparently those rumors don't seem to die down because TMZ managed to get some photos of these two out having dinner, which, of course, just is dispelling those rumors that they hunching in real life, and if they are, okay, like what does that have to do with the price of tea in China? Congratulations if they're a couple. So according to the story, they say François Arnaud might be choking on those none of your fucking business line that he tossed at Andy Cohen, because the rumors about him dating Connor Storrie getting louder, steamier, and a lot harder to dodge. So the duo was spotted at the Smokehouse in Burbank, Los Angeles, in photos obtained by nosy ass TMZ. In the images, they were seen sharing a cozy booth. Well, what other things do they have at a restaurant? All right, Beyonce getting cozy. Cozy. They said they were sharing a cozy booth at the restaurant. A small lamp in the center of the table lit the scene as they happily chatted. In one snap, Storrie 25 smiled at Arnaud, who's 40, while looking over the menu. In another, Arnaud seemingly laughed while Storrie looked off into the distance. Days prior to the Smokehouse outing, co-stars were seen making a fashionable exit from a Paris Fashion Week party in January. So yeah, they were at Paris Fashion Week, but also they were there, and also Hudson Williams was there. And I believe what's the other actor, the one that plays François' significant other on the show? I believe he was there also. So there was a lot of the cast. And my thing is, one person pointed this out to me, and I was like, you know what? That would be me. Because they were like, well, yeah, they were hanging out together because when you are new to the game and you don't know anybody and you see somebody that you work with on a TV show, you're going to gravitate towards who you know and you're going to hang out with them. Because that would be me. If I'm at an event and I don't know nobody, but there's one person that I see there that I'm comfortable around and I know, I'm gonna go hang out with them because it's familiarity. And when you're in a position where you probably feel socially awkward at a lot of these type of events, which when your career's starting to build, that's when you end up feeling a sense of social awkwardness, but you have to force yourself out of that comfort zone so that when you can go hang out with these people, that's kind of how it's going to come across. So Storrie, who plays Ilya Rozanov, opposite Hudson Williams Shane Hollander on the sultry hockey drama, first sparked dating rumors with Arnaud when they were spotted jetting out of JFK following their press week in the Big Apple last month. Now, some fans of the show felt Storrie would be better matched in real life with his on-screen level Williams, leading to Arnaud reportedly receiving death threats. Now, Arnaud subsequently unfollowed the cast and others involved in the hit series, including Williams, Robbie GK, that was his other name, and Connor Storrie. He later refollowed the cast members and shared a composite photo of himself and Williams flipping off the camera and a bunch of other stuff. So look, if these two are out here hunching, what is it of anybody's damn business? Congratulations. I bet you the sex must be great between us. Because Connor definitely looks like, oh, she throw them legs back, honey. And François definitely looks like, oh, he's like he gives aggressive top tees. He definitely gives me that. Let my imagination go wild. Just like that lady that wrote Heat of the Rivalry, let her imagination go wild when she was writing this homosexual fiction and all of this stuff regarding hockey and things. So just like y'all can make up shit, let me have my moment too. Let me feel my goats, in the words of Melinda Verga. So With all that being said, because I got to bring back, I go off my little tangents. If these two are hanging out and having a good time, or whatever case is going on, let them do that. But I'm like, look, if y'all didn't want people to know y'all are out here hunching, y'all would not be adding more gasoline to the fire by going out to little restaurants where you got a booth where you could be easily spotted. It is giving romantic tease. But so I'm not, I mean, congratulations is what I'll say on all of this. And look, it brings more attention to the show. The fact that you have people that are working on a show together that are a couple. My thing is, be careful with that, because if it was heterosexual people, I say the same damn thing, because there have been situations where heterosexual couples have dated on a show and things don't end well. So while this is cute or whatever, that you have, and I know some people have a problem with François and Connor because Connor is 25. His frontal lobe is fully developed, because that's when the age when the boys fully develop their brain. Their frontal lobe is at 25. François is someone who's been around the world, and I am much older. He's in his 40s. And 25 doesn't seem bad. 25, I feel like, is a good enough age where, first of all, if you're in your 40s and you still feeling youthful and young and supple, or whatever, in your mind and in your heart, yeah, don't get me wrong, the bones you be feeling the pain the next day when you working out or whatever. But if you mentally, like someone who me and friends, well, we're around the same age range. So when you're someone in your 40s and you still feel mentally young or whatever the case is, me dating a 25-year-old or whatever the case is, I don't feel like that's bad. But I know like there's some Gen Zers out here that are upset because, oh, you're dating them. The chemistry between him and Hudson is one thing. François and him, if there's like a different type of connection, let them have their moment and let them enjoy what they're having. Just be happy for them. Because I was trying to see if there was, I think somebody did leave a comment about Connor up in here. Oh yeah, so there were some positive people, and that's what we want to focus on. Let's focus on the positivity, because I'm always rooting for happy relationships. Keep me feeling all sentimental at my age. So Arnaud's reticence on the topic has done little to quell romance speculation, with one person on Twitter writing on their most recent outing, Connor's Storrie and François look absolutely beautiful. Another person said, I live and smile for everything that makes Connor happy, whether it's François as his partner, friend, or whatever it may be. So look at y'all. Y'all don't even believe that Connor could be a heterosexual male. Just like a lot of people out here don't believe that Pedro Pascal is straight. And I was not the one that outed him. I was watching John Roca when he was doing his show, The Hot Mic, with Jeff Snyder. Jeff Snyder. Or Jeff Snyder. I don't know. Sometimes it'd be confusing because people put the SCH in there when it's not even their name. But anyway, he was doing a thing with Jeff Snyder, and when they brought up the story about Pedro Pascal doing the homosexual movie with Danny Ramirez, which we talked about on this show, I was like, you so damn shady. He goes and says, are we just going to sit up here and pretend like he didn't even say it, but we knew what he was thinking. Like, we all know about Pedro. And that's all I'm going to say about that. So I say all this to say, if Connor and François are out here doing the yum yum bouncy bouncy and have become an official couple, congratulations. Work y'all thing out, get to know each other, let the relationship work. But I just hope that y'all know what y'all getting into, because if y'all working on a TV show together, and for how long, if y'all have a messy breakup, it is not going to be cute when y'all got to work together and y'all know all the bodies is buried because your relationship didn't work out the way it worked out. So I just hope that you know what you're doing when you out here messing with a coworker and what type of drama that could bring. Because me, I'm the type that I do not shit where I eat. But then again, it is kind of hard when you're an actor and you're traveling. And the fact is, it's not often that you're going to meet people that you could have a genuine relationship with. So sometimes the coworker thing, it just is what it is. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Remember when it was scandalous to suggest two guys were dating? I know, right? Not the Doris Perez Hilton open. Oh yeah, because he basically spent a lot of his career outing people. He outed Chad Allen. He outed Neil Patrick Harris. Didn't he out Matt Bomer? He outed a lot of. He outed Lance Bass. He outed a lot of people back in the day. It was messy, but child, it was entertaining. You had to realize that was kind of dangerous because back in the 90s and the 2000s, it was not okay to come out of the closet. But now it's just like, okay, somebody comes out, and a lot of this generation, they don't care. They be happy and rooting for. Now, the people in the industry, they still try to hold on to that, oh God, if you come out as gay, it's going to ruin your career. So you got to keep it. I'm like, really? Because if you actually check the tea leaves on the rest of the world, there's only a handful of people that get so caught up in who somebody's sleeping with. Most people don't care. The girls be out here rooting for the fact that Connor and out there is there. But then again, you get those trolls. I was like, no, we watch with Hudson. Who said Hudson like dick in real life? I told you allegedly he got outed as having a girlfriend. All right, y'all. So now, let's get into some drag race news. And since we was talking about Melinda Verga, let's talk about her in this topic because Miss Mama's ended up getting the first chop of Drag Race UK versus the world, which shocked the world that y'all had the unlitigated goal to pretty much chop the Sasha Colby of Canada. That's what I call it. Look, I stand 10 toes down on that. She is the Sasha Colby of Canada, and y'all went and got rid of her. So I'm mad. So she recently did an interview with Pink News and talked about it. So look, everybody was mad that she got voted out. I kind of had a feeling she was going to get voted out because them vocals during that performance, the Rural Vision Song Contest, were a choice. I was like, I had me a Coco Montrese moment. I was like, find the note. It's in there somewhere, sis, but find the note. And she revealed in the interview that the reason why she was going through a lot in that season, she said she was going through a lot mentally. She was also sick when she was doing the show. And there was a lot of stuff that was happening off camera that a lot of people didn't really get to see. So she ended up getting chopped against she was lip syncing against one of the girls who was from Germany. But to be honest, when I watched that lip sync, The Only Naomi, that's what she performed. And they performed I Begin to Wonder by Danny Minogue. First of all, I love that song. Y'all already know Neon Nights is my actual favorite record. First of all, that's like the only record I like from Danny Minogue, because that was when she was going into slut Minogue era, where it's like that electro pop and a lot of the songs, Put the Needle on It is one of my favorite songs. She also has a song called Push, which samples was it a Monifa song? Because Monifa samples that same beat with like, do you really want to touch it? Do you really want to mess with me tonight? It's like, it's that song, but I don't know if that's a sample or that's her original, so I can't remember off the top of my head. But so it was a lot of really good songs. That was like electro pop gold. Like that was she goes a little mess. She a little sluttier than Kylie. Kylie is like sensual. She has a slut Kylie era, but she never really went there like Danny did. Like Danny was a little more aggressive with her sexual peak. But so I love that record. I love I Begin to Wonder, which also contains a sample. There was a lot of samples on that album. So they performed that lip sync, and her and The Only Naomi, child, if it was up to me, I would send them both home. Both their performances was a mess, but the problem I think was sent Melinda home is because she didn't remember the words. And I was watching her mouth, I'm like, not you up in here doing watermelon. Because that's what she was giving. I was like, when I'm watching her, am I watching Can You Please Her? So I couldn't tell because it's like you two girls that don't seem to know the words when they get up there and perform. So she was up there, was a mess, and then flopping around the stage doing her dips and flips and flops and looked like a dead fish flopping around that stage. Her, and then you had The Only Naomi trying to do cartwheels well, she didn't stick the landing. It was just a mess. And the one thing I have to say, what's getting on my nerves about these lip syncs is that too much, I feel on this show, y'all rely too much on the Like, oh, I got to do tricks and things. It's like, get up there and fucking perform the song. Everything don't have to be a dip. You don't have to flop around the stage. You don't have to do cartwheel. You don't have to do all of that. It's like, we've seen that done so many times, it gets tedious. So just get up there and just give a show, perform like you would at any other event if you were performing as a drag queen. So, Melinda did speak about, as we found out, her name actually means my pretty penis. She said that's what it stands for, Melinda Verga. So, they talked about their mental health spiraling last year and a fury of the judges' remarks and online comparisons to the trajectory of his Canada Drag Race sister Lemon, who went on to win Canada's Drag Race Canada versus the World Season 2. So they asked about how he feels about the first 2 episodes. And they said that they waited so long for the season to air, and while the period of waiting is happening, it's torture. So today is a full circle moment. I'm ready to close the chapter and move on to the next chapter fully and completely. They said in 2025, I wasn't well mentally. I'm going to be frank about that. It was a real struggle. That's not something that many people know because it's just something that I chose to deal with privately amongst my nearest and dearest. And whenever I showed up for a show or a gig, I always showed up full Melinda, full throttle, without people knowing that I was actually suffering. So for today to happen and to be finally here, the healing is complete. And then they were just talking about that they didn't want to come out and say that they were going through stuff mentally because, or that they were sick, because then what would have happened was y'all would have jumped on social media and been like, oh, you making up excuses. Oh, nothing's really wrong with you. So it's just like, you can't even win. If you're vulnerable, people feel like you're making an excuse. And then, and it's sad that people can't just show up as authentically themselves. And you can always tell when somebody BSing and coming up with an excuse. But if you got some stuff going on of you saying like, mentally I'm not here or something I'm going on, I thought I was going to be ready to appear on the show, but I wasn't ready. People got to be willing to listen to people when they do these things. But I've been watching many a times when I've watched Drag Race and I'm like, girl, please, you sitting up here trying to make an excuse to save your own ass. Kind of like Briar. I'm still like side-eyeing whether or not that was real with that whole that feigning spell that she did. So they also said that some people did say online, oh, look at Melinda Verga. She's making excuses again, but people don't know these things, right? I got there sick. I was even worried that I'd be sent home because I was sick. Then with the design challenge, there were so many other things that I had to deal with off camera. I was spiralina. Let's just put it that way. Up to the lip sync moment, all the words gone. It was just piling up. And then that set the tone for 2025 for me. And that continued on for the rest of the year. Healing didn't really start until later in the year. And hopefully I got that fixed just in time for this season to air. So, then they started asking her about the comparisons between her track record and Lemon. And saying that, yeah, after leaving UK versus the World first, she went on to win Canada versus the World. Are you keen to come back for another season? And she said, yeah, 10,000%. Honestly, one of my first phone calls was to Lemon. I'm now, of course, seeing lots of parallels between Lemon and myself. Some trajectory so far, 5th place in Canada's Drag Race and now first out on UK versus the World. But I also got to do the Traders Canada and I did well. While Drag Race definitely opened doors for me, it's not the only platform available to me, and I'm grateful for that. So I'll definitely be exploring other avenues in the next little while here. So don't be surprised if I appear on your TV screens sooner than later. And then they were asking, how did she feel going into UK versus the World? She said she went in super confident. I made a lot of the looks herself. She said on Canada Drag Race, she made a lot of the looks herself. I had a stash of fabrics in my house. So when people were like, taste level, no bitch, I was working a full-time job. I made a lot of my looks that I brought on the show and I spent $0. So Canada for me was a huge win in so many ways. Going into UK versus the World, however, knowing my edits on my storyline on Canada's Drag Race, she brought the looks. But then she said she spent a lot of money on her runway package, which is the thing that always makes me cringe a bit, because it's like these girls break the bank and they try to step their pussies up in regards to the fashions. And then you got to worry about possibly going home first or whatever the case is. And it's like, well, damn, I spent tens of thousands of dollars on my runway package and now I can't show it off. So you end up in a situation where you're broke and you got to find a way to recoup that money because the looks that you had that you were looking forward to win on the runway, you're not going to be able to show them off. So they basically said, if you're going to be on a TV show, it's a lot of money. But with that said, I was more confident about my runway package and knowing I already had the charisma, uniqueness, nerve, and talent aspect of it. I was like, let's go. So now, they asked her if she expected to win the episode based on her having a fashion school background. You want to know something? I've always noticed this whenever they talk about, oh, I went to fashion school, I went to here and I went there. I'm like, y'all are kind of setting yourselves up to be up for elimination because a lot of times we get people that say, oh yeah, I went to school and I graduated in fashion school, and then when it comes to the full look or whatever, it's like, I don't know what you were thinking. Because I like this Vivienne Westwood look, even though they were throwing shade at her a little bit, saying like it was wearing her more than she was wearing the outfit. The black outfit that Melinda wore that she designed herself, I didn't like the little thing that she had coming down the front. I mean, it was tailored great, but it made her look like a fish, like the scales of a fish or whatever. I just didn't like that thing in the front. If she would have just kept it like simple and just had maybe the little scale, like the little piece of fabric that she had in the front. If you had it more or less in the back or whatever, and probably made it like sort of a train-esque type thing, I think it would have been cute. And just let the front black, and then the parts of the sleeves where she had like that same fabric, that I think would have been cute. And I like the plunging V line for the breast area, but I was like, yeah, the outfit was just not doing it for me. It was just too much. So, then they asked about the judges' critiques and if she was in agreement with the judges on her looks. She said, no, I wasn't. I'm not going to be sugarcoating that today, right here, right now. I wasn't. Of course I wasn't. Oh my God, I'm still salty about that. I talked about healing earlier, and now I'm like, I wasn't. Maybe that's one of the reasons that I still haven't watched the episode, because I don't know what made the cut. I do remember being told things that I was like, okay, that's just not needed. That's not necessary. Maybe you're going for a reaction here, but I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of that reaction. No, I didn't agree with the judging. I didn't agree with the results. I didn't agree with a lot of the things that were said to me on stage that day. Yes, a part of me was wanting to bring out Canada's Drag Race episode for Melinda back on stage, and probably that would have made an iconic TV moment. But no, I wasn't going to be that girl who wasn't able to get her ish together. And it's RuPaul. RuPaul is due the respect, no matter my feelings, no matter anyone's feelings and opinions. RuPaul created the platform for all of us, and she deserves the utmost respect. I wasn't about to disrespect her in her own house. Was I happy? No. But but was I about to disrespect my mother? No. Now, they also asked her who would she play on Snatch Game, because that is the next episode, and then she basically did not reveal, because she was like, you know what, that the people that I was researching that I wanted to do for Snatch Game, if I had made it, I still want to play those characters. So I'm not going to squabble that opportunity. I was just trying to find a way to bring that into the show. But here, hold on, because I want to bring up, in case y'all forgot, what her design look was. If this thing, this was the look. And like I said before, I think she didn't mind the dress. I don't mind this, like this part. Yeah, this gotta go. If this was more or less back here and she created like a little train or whatever, I think it would have been cuter. This, I don't mind. It does kind of give old lady a little bit, so I don't really mind this too much. But this part kind of just in the mid, going down the middle of the dress, I didn't like that. I do like the hair though. So I mean, Melinda, the way she dressed, she does give matronly an old lady anyway. So I mean, and I know a lot of people don't particularly care for her overall fashion looks, but I didn't mind the dress that much. I mean, was it the greatest? No, but based off of somebody who went to fashion school and created an original look, I don't think it was bad. Like I said, this middle part, I'm like, if you would have taken this and brought it back here, it probably would have been a lot better. And I don't know, I don't mind this. It could have been a little shawl, maybe a little cape situation that she could have made with this piece of fabric. So yeah, so shout out to you, Melinda. Oh yeah, and I gotta bring this up because speaking of Canada, there's rumors are swirling that we have some Canada Drag Race girls for All Stars, the upcoming season. Because I was like, let me bring this up before I forget. So yeah, Canada's Drag Race All Stars. We got Scarlett from season 1, Scarlett Bobo. Then we got Juice from season 1, Gia from season 2, Kimmy from season 3, Jada Shada from season 3, Vivian from season 3, Moko from season 3, Aurora Matrix from season 4, Michaela from season 5, Perla from season 5, Ebony from season 6, and Sammy from season 6. So we got 12 queens. These are the girls that they talking about allegedly is going to be a part of the upcoming season of Canada's Drag Race All-Stars season. This sounds like it'd be interesting, but those are the rumors so far. So, yeah, I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? I just want to bring that up because it's part of the whole Canada thing regarding Melinda Verga, as well as the rumored cast of Canada's Drag Race All-Stars season, whenever that is supposed to air. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments down below. Minty Fresh is receiving backlash for using an AI in the song she performed in a talent show episode. She's blocking people who call. Oh, I did not know that she used AI on the song. I was like, how'd they figure that out? And my thing is there rules that say that you can't even use AI in regards of the music or whatever? I guess maybe because it's cheaper than hiring a producer. Is that what they're saying? Like it was the beats was from, So we'll see. Right. So now I'm like, I did that one, so now I can close it. All right, y'all. So now, without further ado, let's get to our final topic. And let's talk about this mess of a last episode of Drag Race. And when I tell you I was disappointed is not even the word I would probably describe how horrible this last episode was. So, in the last episode of Drag Race, last week's, which was like what was that, episode 5? The first half of the talent show, I will say, was good. The top 2 was the right top 2. The bottom was the bottom. Sierra Myst, yeah, she wasn't the greatest, but should she have been in the bottom? I'm like, I'm not that upset that she's in the bottom this week. I mean, and from the challenge of the Raider Queen. This week, it felt personal. I don't know what show I was watching. I don't know if I was watching The Traitors or if I was watching Survivor, but it didn't feel like a genuine show of like people were voting based off of the performance. It felt political. And I don't know if this is a good idea for them to have the way that they did this Raider Queen this season. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like that they put it in the halfway mark, but I don't like the fact that you're letting the queens determine who should be in the bottom. In my opinion, it should be up to the judges. They're gonna have to figure out a way to rework this whole Raider Queen scene, because the fact that y'all had Mikey Meeks as the bottom choice to go up against Sierra Myst, I thought was bullshit. And I said it many times when I was watching. I don't know how many times I said bullshit when I'm watching the show. Can you please? It should have been in the bottom. Because, girl, speaking of when we were talking about people that don't remember words, when she got clocked by Michelle, and it's like, yeah, I'm looking at you, Kenya. Know the words when you get up there. So you know how many times I be hearing y'all be there, watermelon, watermelon. So it's like you up there gooped and gagged because you couldn't even remember the lyrics. And then you get up on there and perform your show, your performance, and you thinking doing the Britney with the flopping the hair back and forth, doing hairography, that was going to distract from the fact of you not knowing the words. And here's another thing. Why do big girls always have to do high kicks? What is up with that? It's like ever since, oh no, what's her name? The annoying white girl that was on what was it, season 8 and then went to season 9. When she was up there, she always was giving high kicks when it comes to stuff. The one that was on that show with Shangela and them over on HBO Max. I don't know, I'm forgetting names all of a sudden. But yeah, when there was over, big girls always feel the need to have to do a damn high kick. I don't understand why y'all be doing that. But yeah, I was disappointed in this episode. So I don't like this whole thing with the Raider Queen. I don't know. I haven't checked social media because I haven't read it, but I'm sure there's a lot of people that were pissed off with this second half. And I do agree with Nene. I do feel like Eureka. Thank you. I don't know why I couldn't remember Eureka, but it was like, yeah, Eureka. Ever since Eureka O'Hara, I was like, shoot, because look, Mystique and them wasn't up there doing high kicks back in the day, and neither was Jiggly Caliente. I feel like it started with Eureka with all them every 2 seconds. Why are you doing so many damn high kicks? You are not you're not up there. You're not a rockhead. So watching the show, I was like, yeah, this second week was a downgrade. And I do agree with Nene. Nene, if you would have waited and put yourself in the second week, I do believe you would have been in the top 2. And I think the top 2, even though I don't agree, they probably would have put Athena there anyway. I do not agree that Athena should have been in the top 2. I thought compared to the other house members, the Dion house members, when you're looking at Juicy and you're looking at Mia, Athena was the weakest. If you want to talk about performances. And another thing, did y'all know that Athena was Greek? Because she told us like 50,000 times in one episode. So I had no idea that Athena was Greek as many times as she told us. So that was another irritation with the Greek thing. And then the Oppa, okay, that was catchy. But as far as like the performance goes, it was giving lackluster. So I do not agree she should have been in the top. Now, if I was going to say, I do believe Mikey should have been in the top. And Jane Don't. Those are my top 2. I do a thing that if you were going to put bottom 3, I would have definitely had King and Pleaser. Discord Adams was not bad. So I don't like the idea that Sierra was going after Discord so bad. And I'm looking forward to seeing Roscoe's tomorrow because I haven't seen the episode. I know it filmed already and it's supposed to air for us regular folk who ain't trying to pay that $2 on Monday. So the Roscoe's viewing party is supposed to have Discord and Sierra on there. And I'd hope that they ask the question of, how did you feel that Sierra was gunning for you so hard to be in the bottom? Because I don't know how you was up in there trying to think that. And one thing I was pissed that Discord be the weakest one. Why? Because she do that crazy walk. But one thing I didn't like, because I was like, see, Juicy, you becoming one of those girls that you trying to be friends with every damn body. Because she wastes no time going over there telling Discord what Sierra was up to and what she was. I said, girl, stop. Why are you being a snitch? So I didn't get mad over that because Discord up in here being messy. And I guess because, I mean, not Discord, Juicy up in here being messy. And I guess because after Juicy did what she did, that's probably when some of the other queens felt the need, oh, that's my girl. So I'm gonna let her know what's going on and how we vote and those other stuff. So it was just messy. I don't know if I like the whole idea. It kind of felt like with this Raider Queen, y'all were trying to do the All-Stars thing, and it definitely felt a little All-Stars-ish to me. I don't like my fate being left in the hands of regular people that I'm competing with on a regular season of Drag Race. Like, if you want to do that whole find a new way of the girls eliminate each other Survivor style, then figure that out for the next season of All-Stars. I don't like this idea of what they were doing. So, yeah. So, Raider Queen this week was a chop. I didn't like it at all. I was going to see what else I want to say. And it just felt like there was a disconnect in regards of a lot of the way the girls was voting. Because can you please? I don't give a good goddamn. Like, okay, that's my Kiki sister, and she's funny and all that other stuff, but her performance was terrible. You can't remember the lyrics to your own words, and sis, you need to lip sync for your damn life. And so there was an article that I came across, TV Line, where they basically said that Sierra Miss spoke out and basically said that suddenly presenting Raider Queen in terms of where we are in this season is an interesting concept. It feels more like an all-stars type of format, in my opinion, because it comes from the element of social strategy, whereas on the flagship, it's more standard that we're being critiqued by the judges. That's what we've come to expect. And maybe I'm wondering, is there a reason why we're all of a sudden allowing them to do this? Is it because the judges really don't have much to say anymore. Like they don't really have much of a valid opinion on how to judge people on this show, because a lot of times the judges don't match what we've been watching on the show. And I know that's been an overt criticism that a lot of the fandom has been saying. And it's like y'all trying to find more ways of not doing the job that y'all get paid lots of money to do, which is to judge these performances of or critique a lot of the queens that are competing on a reality show and a competition series, because it's a hybrid. It's a competition series and a reality show. So I get that you're trying to do this to spark interest, because yeah, these girls are acting very kumbaya in the season so far. A lot of people have been feeling it's been kind of boring. There's not a lot of drama, so you had to create drama. But yeah, I'm glad that Athena's ego has been stroked a little bit, because she won the challenge or whatever the case is. But as I stated before, I do not believe that she should have been in the top two, let alone win the lip sync that she was a part of. And I know that pissed Jane don't off. And I will say this: I've been loving the confessionals that Jane's been doing, because Jane been shady. She's been having me like a lot with a lot of the stuff, because she can say whatever a lot of the stuff I want. And shout out to Discord, because when Discord said what she said about Athena, talking about people playing fair, and I'm like, sis, you was not playing fair. You did not play fair at all when we were sitting up there doing the show, because immediately we're like, well, y'all just gonna have to be mad because I'm gonna vote for family. Family comes first. So I'm gonna vote for Juicy, and I'm gonna vote for Mia. Those are gonna be my top two. And the funny one, no, Mia was like, please don't be mad at me with the way that she voted. So I hope it was no hard feelings with the way she voted, because she was like, yeah, I'm voting for my girl first, because we made a pact. Is that I said I was going to vote for a certain amount of people. I was trying to look for the damn post, but I can't find it. I post so much stuff on my social media. But like when Discord was basically like, oh, Athena said vote fairly, and then put an asterisk there, because it was like, girl, you didn't vote fairly. You voted the way you decided to vote. There was politics involved. You voted for your family first, and then you voted for the other people. So even if your performance wasn't the greatest, and I'm glad that at least Juicy was honest, was like, yeah, that Kenya didn't know the words. So they expected her to be in the bottom. So for y'all to go and vote Mikey in, I just thought that was kind of, that was just trash to me. So I'm really looking forward to next week's episode, because we all knew that they was going to put that Raider Queen out, and it was going to see how the girls voted. So it's going to start some mess in the show, because we need drama. So I'm looking forward to seeing that and seeing how the girls voted. So I want to see if there was any more that Sierra had to say before we move on. So oh yeah, so they said that suddenly presented looking back at the game-changing, or in her case, game-ending twist, those 2 weeks became very different Drag Race. It became an episode of Survivor or The Traitors, where it was much more about social strategy, and it was about the week's performance or runway. It was more based on any factor that you can come up with to justify a vote. That's why I said I call bullshit on the way that a lot of these girls voted, because I don't think they were voting fairly. And don't even get Sierra started on those nonsensical alliances, given that type of dynamic and the relationship that were already being cultivated in the room. It cracked everybody. We saw that in how people approached their alliances, people who then felt insecure about their alliances or who broke them. I don't think anyone was safe, because everybody was so shaken by the ass. And they also said that Sierra was also shaken because, based on her trajectory this season, she didn't expect to wind up in the bottom. As she reminds us, I was moving onward and upward. I had been what I'll say is high safe, robbed of a top placement a couple of times, then landed in the top for my meat dress denim combination. And then the judges decided to take off a week and turn it over to the queens, and suddenly I was up for elimination. Still, Sierra said she wouldn't have done anything differently, not even the talent show performance that ultimately got her voted into the bottom two, saying it was an emotional tribute to her late drag sister, Tristan St. Clair, who unalived herself in 2024 with a message of hope and strength for anyone who needed to hear it. It was a story Sierra knew she wanted to tell long before the call of Drag Race came up. Well, that's good because I feel like when you're in that situation, at least if someone you want to pay tribute to unalive themselves, at least if even if the queens didn't like the show and they want people want pomp and circumstance and stuff, the message got out there. And if someone who's watching the show and they feel like they don't see value in their life and they're thinking about unaliving themselves, and I hope they don't, that they saw that video and it inspired them to want to keep pushing forward and holding on, because you know what? We've all been in situations where we feel like it's the end of the world and we want to end it all, but it does get better eventually. So just hold on, and you know, we all eventually come out on the other side stronger than yesterday, as Britney Spears would say. So we all need a little healing. But then speaking of Britney Spears, she ended up performing with Mikey Meeks to Toxic, which I don't know if I was really here for that song of all Britney songs. I was like, okay, that's the choice, okay, but I don't know. I didn't really feel that lip sync. I mean, Mikey was funny because she had the rotten teeth and all other stuff, and did make me chuckle a little bit. But I just wasn't. I was underwhelmed by the lip sync. No shade. So she said, she also said that the song played in the bar the other night when Athena Dion was there. My drag family all grabbed my hand and we laughed. So so it was like, okay, that was some kismet type situation. So yeah. So I don't think I have anything else to add to this. Speaking of which, I did have this photo because I forgot to add it up in there because we gotta have our elimination photo where you see the two queens up for elimination. It was cute or whatever, but look, it is what it is. So as I said before, this episode was a chop. Hopefully it gets better from there. And what I'm really hoping also is that y'all figure out how to, like, this Raider Queen thing. I don't mind it. It's an interesting concept. Y'all just got to figure out how to make it work in the confines of the show y'all trying to do. Because this whole thing in the middle of the season and allowing the people that are competing on the show to determine the fate of other queens or who should be up for elimination, who goes home. I don't like that twist because I've never done that with the whole Raider Queen thing. You just wanted to know like how the girls will rate each other in that performance. But now that you're allowing them to determine the fate of other queens or who gets to stay and who gets to sashay away, I don't know if I like that part. So y'all need to figure out how to make that work. Maybe y'all could just bring the Raider Queen into All Stars and just remove it from the regular show altogether. Maybe that's what needs to happen. Take it off the regular show, bring Raider Queen to All Stars, make that a thing, and put it in the middle of the season. And in my opinion, maybe that'll fare better because these are familiar queens, and it's about a point of stepping your pussy up in that whole situation. So maybe Raider Queen needs to be, as I stated, bring it to All Stars, get it out of the regular season, leave Drag Race as like the regular season where the judges get paid to do what they're supposed to do, which is the judge, and to determine who gets to stay, who gets to sashay away, and not some girl who just starting out in their first season. So yeah, fix that. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. The most disappointing part of the lip sync to Toxic doing. Oh my god, this is doing right in the middle of the season makes it more messy, but Raider Queen in the middle of the season makes it more messy. But this felt like bullying Mikey. If I was Mikey, I would have started not fighting some people. No, what would have happened was when we get in that workroom and I find out the real reason, bitches is getting cussed the fuck out. And I'm like, no hard feelings, but this is how I'm feeling, and I'm out the windmill on all you bitches because the way that y'all went in, where y'all just all of a sudden decided to harbor on her when her performance was not the weakest. In my opinion, she was the most entertaining out of all the mediocre ass performances we got of the night. Y'all were being biased because Athena is Athena. Y'all trying to prop Athena up like she is the Sasha Colby of this season, and she has not delivered on that at all. At least when we saw Sasha Colby on her season, Sasha Colby showed up as Sasha Colby, hence why she won. Athena is like queen of Florida and Greece and think that's supposed to be enough to help her excel beyond this show. And it's just like, or in the show. And I'm like, girl, you're not giving what you think you given in these challenges. So, but I'm sure she'll probably make, I don't know who ends up where. I haven't read any of the spoilers, but more than likely she'll probably make top 4. If she don't, I will be shocked. Athena's talent explains why it took her. They usually don't crown queens who win their first challenge this late in the season. It's always in the first 4 episodes. Mm. So y'all think maybe Jane Don't might be? I could definitely see Jane Don't making it all the way to the end and possibly winning the show. Rue never gave his top 2. You want to know something? That was another thing I said that they should do too. I'm glad you reminded me, because that's what I said. Because I just don't understand. Like, Rue, you don't give your opinion. Like, I would have been like, my top 2 is this and my bottom 2 is this. Because I do feel like my top 2, as I said, would have been Mikey and Jane. Bottom 2 would have been, well, I thought that I did not think Athena's performance was all that great. I thought Discord was way better. She was up there playing them instruments. And that's probably because I'm a rock head, so that maybe there's some bias there, but it's just all matters of personal taste. And what I said, Kenya Pleaser definitely should have been in the bottom, but because she makes people laugh and she's got this larger than life personality, that's the only reason why y'all kept her. So she should have been in the bottom. I don't give a good goddamn who. And the funny enough, the judges were saying that's what it was, because that's what I said. If I'm going to be up there as the host and judge of a show, I'm definitely going to be like, yeah, those are my bottom 2 and my top 2. And so, what would be cute also is not only do they do the rate a queen from the fellow queens, but you also get in the booklet the judges who they thought were the top and the bottom, so that way you even get in their heads more so. That's what I would have liked. I thought Vita should have been in the bottom too, because I said she should have been in the bottom last week. Vita is not giving what she thinks she's giving either. Vita and Athena being filler queens was, and that's exactly what they give. Y'all not giving top drag race material. Y'all are filler queens. Like, I could definitely see like y'all are coasting. Vita and is Vita and Athena basically giving Roxy Andrews All Stars 3 Ts? Will y'all be in Carrie? Obama's and Clintons living rip free. Oh, not Trump tards. Pretty much. Trump supporters are the type to bring condoms to a family reunion. Not the inbreeding. Insecurity runs deep. Yes, it does. A lot of his followers are just as insecure. Okay, I'm done. I normally root for the alternative queen, but Sierra Miss came off as such a bully yeah, I didn't like how she came across, because I was like, you was coming for Discord. I didn't like how she was coming hard for Discord and the way she was acting with politicking and all other stuff. And then they over there huddle over in the corner. I'm like, girl, but you already got your little alliance of people so you trying to act like you're not safe. You got an alliance of people that's gonna like keep you afloat. You say you done. Are you done with this, or you say you done with the season? Because I'm like, no, I'm still sick of that. One of my friends, Jovan, lives in Spain, and this got me pissed, because this goes to show like America stays ripping us off. He said that he just subscribed to WoW in Spain. So he's watching all because he said, I stopped watching Drag Race after I think Bianca Del Rio won, and just started watching season 7 and said that, of course, this season is terrible. I was like, yeah, we all know that season 7 is horrible. But he hasn't watched it since Bianca, so he didn't know. So he and his husband are watching or whatever. And he was telling me that for WoW Presents Plus, they get all the drag races on WoW, including this one in Spain. I'm like, we don't even get that. We get all the drag races except the American one, which makes no sense. Why don't we have the American one on WoW Presents Plus? So that way people can go over there and watch the show. That's just dumb to me. But it just goes that America stays ripping us off. Y'all want us to just pay for 50 million things to get whatever. Like, I shouldn't have to pay damn near $30 for Philo just so I can watch drag. I mean, I watch other things on there too, but that's the only way I can watch the show. She is. Athena is born. This is the queen of Miami. No wonder the rainbow community flocked to we. And we was still popping. I remember when I saw that video, I don't know if y'all seen it, but Monet Exchange did like an on the street thing where she was questioning a lot of like people and they were winning money and stuff. I'm like, oh, I remember that area because I used to go down in West Hollywood a lot. West Hollywood got some popping clubs, but it's no different than New York. Everything, it lasts and then it's gone and then they got a new club. It's like clubs stay getting swapped in and out. It's like the same thing in New York. But it's like, yeah, because I remember Felix was talking about like the Florida drag scene, and I'm like, yeah, that's y'all. If that's the peak of y'all drag scene, then y'all need a little makeover, rejuvenation over there or something. But yeah, overall, I have to say I was relatively disappointed in this last episode of Drag Race. So onward and upward, I guess. We'll just have to see how things fare in next week's episode, which I'm definitely looking forward to. So with all that being said, it looks like we're at the end of today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to this latest episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Hit that like button, smash the notification bell, hit that subscribe. You can also become a member if you want, but if you don't, and I hope you do, definitely hit the like and subscribe. It definitely helps out with the algorithm and all that other stuff. Not you bringing up that they bring a max of $8. She on a budget. Maybe that's why. That's probably what it is. She on a budget. But yeah, we'll be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. We'll be talking about, the aftermath of the Super Bowl. We'll talk about Bad Bunny's halftime and whatever other celebrity news and gossip that will be coming out within the next 24 hours. When we come back on with Monday's show and all that good stuff. So yeah, love you all for watching. Have a good Super Bowl if y'all plan on watching it, or have a good Bad Bunny concert, 15-minute concert situation. That's all y'all plan on watching or whatever. Enjoy the rest of y'all Sunday. And until next time, ciao, darlings.